right now. It's a midday show. It's Sharif and Joe. Me and this guy back at 2 p.m. Peace.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the midday show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif, and I'm already degenning into SONN. So let's get right down to it. We're in at the $quarter, a little bit less. This one is on the warpath to the high side. It's up over 90%. I'm gonna get to the roll call in 1 second, guys, but we're just gotta manage this position. I've got several dollar cost averages here at technical levels that I like. The first one, 205, and then one below that $2 area into the volume weighted average price. So I'm looking for the breakout right now on SONN. We're just a little bit below that 100% mark. This one was a very wide range per candle one to start. You can see it retraces as quickly as it makes its way up, hence why I've put those dollar cost average levels at technical levels. So let's see what we can get here, if we can get some more shareage to the high side here on the dips. So that's what I'm going to be looking at right now, guys. We're in SONN. There's small cap gappers are moving today. It's not the best day for them, but we're going to keep an eye out on this one. Joseph, sorry.
Yes,
Good morning.
What's up, brother?
How are you, man?
I'm all right, man. I'm doing okay. Yeah, honestly, not too much going on for me. I just got into my first position here on the day. I had a lot going on this morning, as I was telling Sharif. So when I rolled into the office, I'm like, I'm not prepared. We're going to be patient and wait until we get into that trading mindset. And now I believe we're starting to settle into that realm that you need to get in. Katina Man, I come into the office, Katina Man's like, yeah, dude, boom, boom, boom. He's on one today. He's having a good time. It's summertime. It's a beautiful day in the city of Toronto. What do we got going on? We are short this market. But if it continues to squeeze, and I'm talking about some names being slightly laggard right now. We got Microsoft looking like it wants to climb towards the high of the day. Amazon might break out, and I'm short the market. I tell you guys time and time again, you don't want to be fighting against the big boys. But with the likes of Nvidia possibly overextended from the volume weighted average price, and we know we have a massive call wall right at that 160 strike price, I'm going to be looking for that rejection of that key level. And I think if it decides to sell, that we're going to get that move here in the TQQs. But that's all I got going on right now. I'll tell you guys what happened to me this morning, because I think it's kind of comical. But Sharif, what do you got going on?
Sir, all right, we're still in SONN here, guys. So I'm keeping my eye, as you know, I'm employing a new tactic, which is looking at the micro pullbacks on the 5-second chart on my top screen. I wish I could share it with you guys down here, but there's just not enough real estate on the screen. Maybe we'll play around with that. So right now, what I'm looking for is the holding of higher highs and higher lows. We have a local area low at 23 pennies. I'm not going to add there. I've already, committed to the areas that I want to add at. It's at 205 and then a little bit below 195. That 195 one might have to move because that one was shadowing the volume weighted average price. Now, what I'm cognizant on here on SONN is the wide range per candle. What do I mean by that? That means that each candle relative to the price has very wide range, very high range and a very low range. So what does that mean for me? Well, that means that it retraces after it makes bigger moves. So how can I use that to my advantage if I'm bullish on the name? If I think even though it has wide ranges per candle, how do I use that information to my advantage? Well, it's by having these dip traits set up at key technical levels. So the area, the first one I have is at 205. Now that I observe it a bit more, there is support at around 207, 210. So I might have to move that beak wetter up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait there at around, let's just split the difference and say 209. I may cancel that 205 order. So let's see what this one does. It's putting in a bottoming tail candle that's turning into a hammer candle at the moment, back into that $quarter. I've taken out a little bit more than half the position. So we're still holding a little bit over here at the $quarter, and we just found support at a previous area at around 213. So I'm going to show you what I'm looking at there. So this is the 5-second chart right now on SONN, and you can see we found support at right at the same area we found support before. However, we have a lower high. So if we get that nice pop into that $0.25 and then we make a lower low, I need to be on the lookout. Now, that doesn't end the matter. This is not like a 5-minute chart or a 50-minute chart. This is a 5-second chart. So you can't chart it in the same way you would a 50 or a 5 or a 10 or a 15. But the whole point of it is to be able to identify where the buyers and where the sellers are on the level 2 locally. Like, again, all this information is available on the level 2, but it's transient, right? It shows up 1 second, then it's gone the next. Whereas when you have it on the 5-second chart or the 10 or whatever smaller time frame off which you want to chart, it stays there so you can refer back to it later. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on now, Joseph. We're involved in SONN. This is up 80%. I really want to be able to focus on this one. There are others that I want to get to in a second. PRME, METC, BKKT, there, and obviously Big Bear AI. Shout out to the Katina man. So that's what we're going to be talking about. But as soon as we've concluded this trade, hopefully successfully, Joseph, we'll go over the side chart and what it's included there on the day, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So let's see what we got going on. And this is what I'm talking about. We got the likes of, congratulations, Katina man, putting on another banger. Amazon cracking through those highs. Nvidia continuing to climb. I'm in, from swing standpoint, I bought some Google last night at 208. Bang, that's working out for us. We sold some Google the other day, not too long ago. We're in that one nicely. So yeah, a lot going on for us. Intraday, we're out of this short here on the overall market. I talked to you guys about not wanting to get squeezed out. That's why you just abide by your stops and get out when you're supposed to. Now, guess what? If I see any form of indecision around these neck of the woods, I get back in, and then sure enough, my risk to reward is drastically better. And I'm starting to see some of those prints that I like to see displayed and printed on the market here. So I'm going to be patient. Tesla's starting to climb higher, and some of the big names are breaking through resistance zones, so you want to keep an eye out on it and then not necessarily go against what these big boys are doing. Oh, Jesus. All right.
You want me to take over?
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
I got it. Sorry, I got something
absolutely.
important. I
no problem.
right
no problem.
Here.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys, let's have a look here. Here we go. Back into 35. There's the bang. We get the print there. Now let's see if we can get one at 39. We're still having a lot of trouble with that high 30s area. It seems like 35 and 36 are where the selling is coming, excuse me, I can speak English.
Hello?
I swear, 37s, that's what I'm seeing now. We're still putting in higher highs and higher lows. Here we go, 38, there's 38, there's 39, boom! We take out the levels. Now we're still waiting at 45. We still got shares on here. Let's go ahead and set up in the high 40s. There it is, baby. Boom, into that level. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on, clear that level. Seller at 44. Big boy seller at 44. Can we shake them? We can't shake them. 45s, 46s. There's the print. Now we're waiting at 49. Can we clear 49? So now we're over 100%. We're 102%. Having trouble, though, with that $0.50. Disappointed I didn't get my ad, but that's the way it goes. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. Here comes to the high side again. I'm looking for a decisive clearing of that $0.50. If we can get a decisive clearing, then we'll add into the position at the highs. I don't mind because we don't have that many shares left, and each and every single out has been profitable here. So we don't mind adding into strength if it is warranted. But what I'm seeing is a very thickly traded stock here in the mid 40s in the same way that it was in the mid 30s. So this has me wondering, you know, who's trying to short this one? And there it is again. We take it out at the $0.50, baby. Now we've only got one out left, so let's let this one run. We're going to wait in the mid 60s here for a pop, and then we can possibly add. Let's keep an eye out on this one. SONN is on the warpath to the high side. Nary a red candle here, so let's keep an eye out on this one. Again, I can't really focus on any of the other ones because we need to keep an eye on this one, but I promise you guys there are other small cap gappers at good technical levels that we'll get to momentarily. Here we go. What's the high of the day? It's 59. It is now 60. We're waiting a little bit higher. Can we get the fill? 63. Here we go. 64 is coming up, Katina man. Can we? Boo. All right, we don't get the fill, so we'll have to pack our patience there. Maybe we'll get it on the next attempt. Back into 61 or so we go. So I don't mind this. Let's see where we could add. So again, you know, really getting extended away from the 10 exponential on the 5. and that is currently now showing me 211s. And I do have an order to go long there, but it will have to be a substantial sell-off for me to get printed. And there is the topping tail candle that we were waiting for. This one has wide range, so let it come down now. That's all right with me. I don't mind it coming down. We only have one more out. This is the area that I want to see so that we can add into the position, since we're almost exhausting our shares here. So we got to wait for a good technical area. What I really want to see, though, on this 5-minute candle is the holding of higher lows. So we're getting an inverse hammer candle now, a topping tail to be expected. Did this actually go? It did cross. Yeah, it crossed into 65. I was waiting at 64, so it looks like there was an area of illiquidity there because I should have been filled. So the high of the day is 65. I was waiting at 64s, but that's all right. We won't get too upset about that. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on now, guys. We're going to give Joseph some time to weasel his way back on to the show. He's taking an important call. We also have Joseph's friend coming on today from Austin, Texas, to give us a real good insight as to how the EV rollout, the AV, autonomous vehicle rollout is going in Austin there. So coming back down into the 30s, here we go, looking for that good add spot. Now, again, whether or not it comes back into technical resistance at 205, 206 is anybody's guess right now. But if it does hold this current candle low, then we're going to add into the position, which I don't mind doing. Let's see if we can get something here. Let's keep an eye out on the 5-second chart. So are we making any higher lows here? Above 245 would be a higher high, but we're still in the mid-30s. That means we have been putting in 3 lower highs. This is what I'm looking at the 5, guys. There's a topping tail into 65. We have trouble with 45, and now we're putting another lower high at 35. So that's kind of what I'm observing there on the 5-second chart. This gives me basically the same information. I hate to be a broken record, but it gives me basically the same information that we get on the level 2. So we'll try to add into that position there. It's not giving us the add, it's just getting away. Let it dip a little bit. I can chase it, but I don't really want to. Back into the mid-40s it goes. This one may get away from me here unless it dips down for a quick add. Buyer here at 43s. There we go. We should be getting the fill now. There we go. So we did get the fill with a cost basis now of 37. That's fine. So let's go ahead and set up at 45, and then we'll set up just below that 50 penny area and then above the 50 penny area. There it is again. We get the print to the high side. Let's see now if we can get that 49 print. Adding to a winning position is something that I have not been good at in the past, full disclosure, so we're looking to improve. And usually with that means that we're going to make mistakes along the way. So I do apologize if you were following the trade and I've added at a bad area. We're going to have to find out soon here whether that was bad or not. Seller at 45, can't shake them, coming right back down. My orders stay the same in the same area at around 210. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Coming a little bit back down now. Let's let this one cook. I don't want to take my eyes off it, obviously, because, well, it's tough to manage these fast ones here. So let's keep an eye out on this one. Back into the 40s we go. What are we doing here? So we seem to have some support in the low 30s, and that's kind of made clear to me on the 5. So I just want to show you what we're looking at here. The 5-second chart with that 230 support area, and then essentially the high 40s is where we're meeting resistance on the 5, and that was to be expected because we did have problems with that 47, 46 area again. And here we go right back into 46, 47. Let's see if we can cross that $0.50. We're certainly having a lot of trouble, Joseph, with that $0.50 on SONN.
All right, sorry about that, man. I'm back here. Just had to take an important phone call. Am I even locked into everything I need to be? We'll figure it out momentarily. But one thing that really matters is that the market is starting to come back in. So yeah, let's look. I would have liked to get in up here, but of course we had to take an important phone call, which I guess is very much needed. But yeah, so we're going to be patient. We're going to wait for specific levels. And I mentioned that some of the big names are starting to break out. So I think the short in the market, you need to wait until you get that precise entry that you are looking for. This is exactly, thank you to that camera. Now I can have this in my ear and start to settle in a little bit here, Sharif. All right, Tesla continuing to climb. Google continuing to climb. Microsoft hanging out right now, but we are holding those resistance zones on the Amazon. So there you go. Katina Man has been long this from these lows. What was prior resistance is now currently acting as support. That Vietnam news maybe good for Amazon here, so you can get a sympathy play. I know they were looking at Lululemon as well, so that's going to be a big one, and I'm curious to see if we're still rocking to the upside here, Sharif, in Lululemon. Oh, no, we gave a lot of that move back here, unfortunately, but a nice indecision print. Not the volume not necessarily following it, but man, wow, Lululemon taking a big-time nosedive off of these. Yeah, from 423 all the way down to 245. That's a 42% haircut, Sharif. And I'm talking about the athleisure wear, man. It comes and goes. One day you're hot, the next day you're not. But exactly, that's how it is. That's how it is sometimes, guys. Hood short at 99. Shop all right, brother. I mean, to each their own.
I'm seeing a lot of new brands at the gym too that I don't even know.
Which ones?
I don't even know what they're called. I just see random names, mostly on women.
I think a lot of people are just they're just like, so their friend will make a brand, they'll wear it, and they're just having
that's a good point.
And I'm pretty sure Lululemon is suing Costco as well too.
What?
Yeah, Lululemon is suing Costco for selling identical clothing. So there you go.
Let me guess, they went to their supplier in Vietnam.
And just probably changed the name.
There you go.
And that's it. That's what Costco does, just front running. So a good look there from Costco. And I mean, Lululemon isn't the cheapest stuff, but some good quality stuff coming out of Lulu. So if there's anything specific you guys want to look at, then we'll do so. Still just gathering all my thoughts and everything that we got going on. I just got that in my ear, Sharif. I don't know if you did.
I didn't get anything.
Okay. So 141. This size at 160 is growing. We're now at 141,000 current open contracts. I can't take that phone call. So I'm going to be patient. Let's see if we reject this specific level. And if we do so, then I think there will be a good short back into VWAP. But right now, I'm being patient. I won't be shorting this market, especially with Google on the up move, Sharif. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a big-time game of patience today, considering the moves that we've seen earlier. The Tesla deliveries, it gave back the majority of that move, but now slowly starting to recover, putting an indecision print right at the volume-weighted average price. That would have been a really, really nice trade. So would you be able to look at INTC? Yes, I can. Give me 1 second here. We didn't want to do that. We'll pull up INTC for you momentarily. Are we continuing to climb in this name? We don't know. But let's figure it out. Oh, a big-time dive. And that's what I'm talking about. I know Katina Man and Neil would probably agree with me on this one. This thing has been dead money for an extended period of time. I think you need some solid earnings reports to come out, and then you can start to see this name recover if those reports are good. But until then, I would just completely be avoiding this stock, especially if you're looking for it to appreciate. That's not the case on what it's doing right now. You can see from all the way back of August of last year, we've just traded within this couple of dollar range on INTC. So we have to keep an eye out on this one. Wait for those earnings reports. Hopefully you get some positive news. But right now, INTC is not a name I would not be looking to own. So that's what we got going on.
Yeah, we're going to get to that on the news, Joseph, because it's a really interesting story what's happening there. And the tactical decisions the new CEO is taking, Lip Bhutan. That things that he's kind of throwing out that Patty G was doing and the new projects that he kind of wants to bring to the fore. And I don't mind it too much. He seems to really want to, or his ambitions, you can feel from his decision making, is to really catch up to TSMC. And also, we'll just talk a little bit about it right now. So they've been pursuing, Joey, this thing called the 18A technology. And essentially, it's very equivalent to what we would call in TSMC's 3 nanometer. But what's the point of having 3 nanometer technology when that's 2022 technology and has been mass produced by TSMC since 2022. And so what he wants to do is he wants to do this 14A business, and that's akin to the 2 nanometer technology. That's the highest of the top technology right now being mass produced. So I do like his ambition, whether or not he's going to be able he's successful and he's able to kind of see that turnaround strategy. Obviously, time will tell, as Adair always says, but yeah, I do like what I'm seeing from him and crew so far, you know. And the Katina Man has been quite honest about it. It's been dead money for a hot minute.
Absolutely. But and things aren't going to turn around on a dime either, right? You're not going to get that V-shaped reversal.
No, sir.
It's going to take some time, right? Especially because brand damage as well, too. We've been talking a lot about that. But
someone else had brand damage today.
Well, yeah, it wasn't, I don't know about that.
We'll get to that one in a minute. They're already talking about it in the chat. They're already talking about Diddy.
Yeah, all the way out of there. So
unreal.
Yeah, unreal. It is what it is.
Catches a whooping on camera.
and then she
catches a whooping on camera and he walks.
How much cash? She got like 14 million.
Joseph, it doesn't matter. That's a civil suit, bro. I mean, she can't catch a whooping like that. Like,
and then
you know what I mean? Like, I don't get that. I don't get that whole thing. Guys, we're doing it freaking live, man. Punched in back at the $0.25 here, scalping all the way up into 40s. This one is having trouble though with that 40 penny area. The 5-second chart looks super convoluted. And let me show you guys, no discernible trend. In fact, it kind of feels like maybe this one is losing a little bit of the bid because we've been putting in lower highs for a while. But again, this is the 5-second chart, so let's not get too crazy over here. So what I'm keeping my eye on is a decisive break of that $0.50. That's been taking a long time to manifest. So whether or not we get that, we'll continue to watch. We got shares on again, as I did add again into that $0.25 with another planned dollar cost average into 210. That 210 area is not random. It is because that's where the volume weighted average price is working there. So going to keep an eye out on that. The great show. Hey, brother, former lawyer over here, criminal lawyer for almost 10 years. So I know exactly how criminal law works. Thank you for your little amateur comment in the chat there. Make sure to hit the like button on the way out. So we'll keep an eye out on that. So let's make sure we're looking at that $0.25 there to hold, because that's where I'm involved in, guys. I don't know where Joseph went again, but he's gone. So I guess we're just going to have to pack our patience. No, you good, Ope? Yeah, no, you're good, brother. You're good. You already did a few hours. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. So right now, still involved in SONN on the way up, but it's a 3-candle setup on the way down. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flatten out right now, break even. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually set up at the volume weighted average price for a dip. And we're going to put a good amount of shares at 211 to front run that side, or the volume weighted average price that's currently on my chart at 209. So positive on this one, really happy with how it traded, but disappointed that we weren't able to get that decisive breakout through 250. And in fact, the high of the day is 265, but it spent all of 2 seconds there. So what I'm talking about right now is SONN, but there are other ones. PRME, looking at this one over here, taking out highs into 332. So keep your eye on that one. This one is breaking out as well. ALT is another one I'm keeping my eye out on. Beautiful dip into that 4 3/4, and right up it goes into about 490s. BKKT, another one we're looking at over here. This one is just yelling flat top break. BKKT at the day's high at 850. And then you also have BBAI. That one for me is a buy at the volume weighted average price. And the last but not least, METC into 1227, one that's been very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So those are the ones that I'm looking at right there. PRME taking out highs. There it goes into 333s. Fantastic look there. This is another one that's been insanely respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5. And, to me, that just yells, hey, buy me off the 10 EMA. But we know that that's not going to be around forever. So keeping my eye on this one. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm short the market once again, guys. We have a little bit better of an entry price. As you can see, Nvidia is starting to pull back. I think that has a lot to do with the open interest at that specific strike price. But one thing to note is that Google is continuously climbing here. So you're getting that push and pull effect in the overall market, guys. So yeah, we got to be patient on this one to see if it is going to work out. And I have no issues with getting out once again. If it does crack this, then that's only what it is. So before I gave it 50 cents, now we're only giving it around 30 cents. And if it starts to work out, we start to pick up momentum and steam, and you see the volume really start to increase, then we can add into this position and make it substantially larger as well too. But this entry is larger than what we had put on here, and then now we're looking for that move, that retracement all the way back to VWAP to see if that can come into play. Because in my opinion, I do believe that the market is slightly overextended, but what doesn't really matter what I think. Let's see if we can get this slow curl over. Okay, perfect. I got that email. So yeah, a lot going on this morning. A hectic morning, and even leading up to what we got coming here shortly as well too at 12:30, Sharif. So yeah, interesting stuff, and gonna be a good day, I think. Short day tomorrow, only a couple hours we're gonna be on, but other than that, Let's see what it is. So let's see what everyone else is looking at in the chat here, guys. EMA is key. Nvidia mean reversion with tight stop in the money a little bit. Nice Gaurav. I'm sure you're off of this candle right here. I think that's a good play. Nice inverted at an extreme high. You can see that throughout the whole session we have a couple pullbacks, but they're not that deep, and we don't even test the volume weighted average price. So I mean that could come into play. And I love that call wall at 160. I think that is going to be an important factor, and if this stock does decide to climb lower. But one thing that is not working out relatively well for me, but I'm long it in the swing account, so we'll take it. But as long as Google continues to climb intraday, it's going to continuously drag the market up with it. And then if you see NVDA start to get a pullback within this secondary trend that we're experiencing, then it's going to drag the market up even higher. So we're going to keep an eye out on these guys. And again, I'm curious in the chat if you guys started doing that. Like if you're trading the TQs or the SQs, whatever it may be, are you focusing on the Mag 7 or some of those top 10 market cap names? Because I think that's really important. If you're trying to short and all of them are climbing higher, good luck. If you're trying to go long and all of them are selling, once again, good luck, because they carry so much weight that they're not necessarily, they move the TQs as well too. So there's heavy correlation between both of them. So, and that's why I have no issues of getting out when I'm supposed to, especially if the other names are continuously climbing higher there. Sure.
All right, guys, back in here at the $0.25, a little bit higher than the $0.25, already scalping into the high 30s. But this has become a consolidation trade here on the 5, and that displeases me because we're not in here to trade a range. We're in here to trade for a possible breakout now. We are getting a bull flag on the 5-minute chart with kind of the breakout area, I want to say around 10:55. Starting there at about $1.80 with the high there, 265. And then I perceive us to be doing the consolidation part of the bull flag. We'll see if that's accurate or whether I'm just seeing what I want to see over here. So we're back in way smaller size at this level over here because it's not the level that I had earmarked at 210. So I didn't want to give back too much. So we were initially larger position, larger position, larger position. This one's much smaller, the one that we're currently involved in. But I really want to try to get in to some other names, ALT, MTEC. They're all looking awfully good at this level, but I just haven't been able to kind of have enough time away from SONN in order to set that up because this one's been kind of on the rampage to the high side. Let's load up. I've got Big Bear AI here that just put in an ugly topping tail candle that is not really an invitation to enter at the moment. Let's look at PRME. What is this on the NQ? There it is. Yeah, so we're into that $0.25 after making a new area high. I'm going to enter here at the $0.25, and I'm going to add. I don't mind adding into this position all the way basically into the volume weighted average price at around 315. So we're in at the $0.25. That gives me a lot of room off which to work. So let's go ahead and throw another order there at 315. So that's exactly what I'm going to do there. It's already pulling back in a little bit, which is fine. Let's go ahead and set up at 31s for a 30 break. Back to SONN, finally coming in a little bit. There you go. That's my man that's so one of the, I forget this guy's name. He gave me his name this morning. Bro, I'm really bad with names now. But anyway, our friend Russell's got a couple of assistants today, so he's not doing it all on his own. And that wall is coming down, guys. That's where the conference room was, behind that wall right there. Yeah, he's coming down right now, Ram. Yeah, well, you know, it's okay. So now I'm going to explain to you guys a bit of an issue that we had here on the floor. See those copper pipes on the left side of the screen? Those are actually the building's water pipes that we had to like go through the board, and it was a whole issue in order to actually get the board to relocate those pipes because they got to come down, right? Because that whole wall is coming down. So that was a whole thing that your friend Randy had to take care of. Shout out to Randy, who did quite well on that. So very excited that this is all going down there, Joseph.
Yeah. What a hectic morning, man, for me.
You good?
Yeah. I'm okay. Yeah. Just absolutely just chaotic. Sorry, I don't like taking those phone calls. I had to take them.
Obviously, brother.
So, anyways, I'll tell the story here. Oh, sorry, we're going to Adair. We're going to go to Adair. We'll get back and we'll talk about Joe's morning.
Good job, Ram.
Here's TSLA. So I'm just seeing this circulate on X now. Tesla suspending production of its humanoid robots and modifies their design. I was seeing this actually reported. I looked this up. As early as 4 hours ago, this was reported, so this isn't really new, but TSLA dropping as this report circulates, suggesting that Tesla is suspending the production of its humanoid robots Optimus and modifying their design. Back to you.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, so this short is really starting to work out. Let's see if this pullback is going to be deep and not too deep, sorry. If we hold this specific level and slowly start to curl around, I think that's going to be a good ad opportunity. All right, no, it's not that deep. There's just so much going on. And so anyways, I go and drop my vehicle off for inspection this morning.
Joe.
Drop it. So there's a Superior Auto. There's two of them literally a block away. I go to one. I'm like, this one doesn't look open. Let me go to the other one, drop it there. The lady's like, yeah, Joe, you're at the wrong one. I'm like, well, I'm already on the train into the office. Just look at the car for me. And then now she sent me a quote for $1,500. So I'm like, okay,
What?
yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Why is it always $1,000 or $1,500?
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
Just round up to the next 1,000, baby.
Exactly. So now she's been calling me saying, Joe, it's not the right email. I'm like, it is the right email. Try it again. And then sure enough, okay, we got that sorted out. But add salt to the wound there, Sharif. I've been calling my coverage guy.
For the warranty?
And he's not and he's not answering the phone.
Fantastic.
Now that we got a $1,500 bill, guess who doesn't want to fork it up? So we got to deal with that guy, or I might be knocking on somebody's door. But anyways,
I wouldn't want this guy knocking on my door, bro.
So anyways, that's been my morning, and we also got a hot interview coming up at 12:30 with my good friend Bobby Godsey of Austin Energy, and we're going to be talking about Tesla and what they got going on with the EV space in Austin, because we do know that it is the front lines of what's going on with autonomy and some EVs. So we have a a poll in the chat. Okay. So how's the poll going? We got 1,100 votes right now. How are you playing the rest of the day? Sticking with the morning winners, cashing out, put that poll up there and see how everybody is doing on the day. But that's what we got going on. We're short the Qs. Nvidia continue to sell. Way to go, Gorev. Google, I want you to appreciate, but from an intraday standpoint, start to pull back for me. And you can see right here, guys, we are rejecting this specific level. So I think this is going to be a good ad opportunity.
All right, guys, I'm into Big Bear AI. Where's my Big Bear AI chart? Here we go. This one did topping tail. Right at, look at that candle, 1125. It opened, it literally has a high there of 741, 761 high, 741 low, topping tails, drops all the way down, literally has no body. But look at the subsequent candle. Higher low, not necessarily a higher high yet, so we haven't cleared that 761 level, but I like what I see here, so I'm punching into Big Bear AI. Let's see how this one does. The Baird one did have support here at 40 pennies, give or take, okay? It did find some support there on a 2-candle basis, and the current candle, as I mentioned, has a higher low. Get it, Katina, man.
No, it's for you, the Baird one.
The Baird one? I don't know, Katina, but sometimes it just come out randomly like that. You know how it is. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Big Bear AI, we're long Big Bear AI, so let's keep an eye out on that. Also, PRME. Now, here's the deal. We're in on PMRE at the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. But as you can see here on the screen, we've got that dollar cost average for the volume weighted average price retracement. So we're going to keep an eye on that. There goes Big Bear into 59 pennies, having trouble with that 59 penny area. Big boy seller there, not posting on any of the gateways. And now we're showing 60s. So we got 60s. There it is. 60 got cleared. Now we're at 61. 62, that is, excuse me. So Big Bear AI putting a higher low on the current candle, now a higher high. Can we get that curling effect possibly into that high of the day? You know what I'm talking about, that 785. Showing 63s. Good strength right now on Big Bear AI. Back now to SONN. Keeping my eye on this one. So 235 again. Having a lot of issues with that 235 level. Super bizarre. I'm looking at the 5-second chart on the top screen, and you can see multiple rejections off 235, and there it is again. So here we go. Boom, we take it out. Let's see if we can cross that 40 area. Now we're putting in higher highs and higher lows, Joseph. Keeping my eye on all 3 of these trades. What do you got?
Ooh, let's go. Yeah, we're still cooking up here. I think this is going to be an ad opportunity. Why not, right? Just because We'll do it there. So we'll add a little bit into this position as we're holding through some of these key levels, but I'm keeping my eye on Microsoft and some of the big names. Meta still chopping around here. Tesla putting in this nice indecision print right at VWAP, but starting to come in a little bit as well here too. So there we go. Some of the big names continuing to climb. I think at some point, if we do crack this, so guys, now we're talking risk management. I've added to this position. I don't have the privilege of having that 30-cent stop. My stop is now tightened. As soon as we breach the top end of this range, I have to hop out of this trade. And I will wait for another opportunity to get back in, but I don't want to take too many stabs at shorting this market, but considering how strong it is. You don't want to continuously try to milk a stone, especially if the opportunity isn't presenting itself and the market is telling you otherwise. And right now, the market is telling us that we are going to continue this slow grind and climb higher. And if breadth is starting to widen, then watch out. The Qs will most definitely continue to climb. I want to take a look at the market from a daily perspective here and see what we got going on. And at what point are we going to get that kind of that 2.5 to 5% pullback? I have no idea.
Good question.
But now we're around like 40% off of those Liberation Day lows, 36 1/3 to be exact there, guys, all right? So that's a big time move without seeing any form of significant pullback. So we were in that bear trend. So we went from the previous all-time high right around this neck of the woods. All the way to these lows, 25%. 25%, and then now, Sharif, we're up 36% off of those lows.
That's crazy.
Some big-time stuff happening in this market. A lot of cash on the sidelines as well, too. As my guy Tom Lee was referencing it, the most hated V reversal of all time.
Oh,
yeah.
those are fighting words.
Those are tough words.
So as you can see, this is me over here, guys. You'll see that. There I am. Cecino, can we zoom out a little bit just to give them the lay of the land? There we go. There's Ram doing hard work as she always is. There behind her is, oh, that's, I don't know his name, Russell's assistant. All right. And so you can kind of get a lay of the land there on Studio A. Check out the latest stories on Trader TV live account. Ram reposted my story. I gave a little behind the scenes tour there of the studio. Guys, we're really pumped about this. I can't tell you how pumped we are. Obviously, all of us show up to work every day, busting our ass for the show, and it feels really nice to have that validation when, you know, the owner throws back the money into the business, really, to expand it. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm super pumped about this whole thing.
I mean, I'm pretty pumped. Yeah. You've been here significantly longer than I have, Sharif, so I can see why it's... I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything to me, but I think it's going to be absolutely wicked that the group of us get to work together. Absolutely, and that's what I think is really exciting for me. Joseph. And everything that's going on here is just an absolute privilege to be a part of all of this. And I'm more than thankful to be a part of this team. And I just try to contribute as much as I possibly can here with certain things. But yeah, it's an honor and it's a privilege. I mentioned to Sharif the other day, imagine we got to do this all day, every day, and the chances are we do. So fantastic stuff, big time things going on, and I'm really curious to see what the future brings, especially with all four of us together. I'm sure at times it's going to get chaotic, but chaos is what the people love and the people want. You got people putting trades on. You got Sharif trading these small caps. You got Katina Man trading the large caps, and every other thing. You got me short the market that's starting to work out right now, and then we get too hyped. Someone needs to calm us down, and then we're like, no, it's summertime. We don't care what you guys think. We're here to have fun, and we're here to have fun with you guys. And there's Katina Man putting that smile on. Let's go TQs.
Fabian, you have anything to say? Oh, okay.
This is the quad screen. So I'm curious. So if we're going quad screen and I'm like, bam, I got a face slapper on. Katina's got a face slapper on. Sharif's got a face slapper on. Oh.
We're halted to the high side, my man, on SONN, Joseph. This one is the gift that keeps on giving. It is now up 135%. Keep your eye out on SONN. This is what the 5 second chart looks like, guys. How many times did we see support at this level right here. So it's a beautiful way. I hate to keep saying it again, but if you're trading these small cap gappers, especially when they're on the breakout, when like this one is doing right now, it really does help to be able to see where the resistance is, where the support is. At least for me, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable punching in at these levels if I can visually see it. So SONN to the high side, going crazy. We're also taking prints on my friend Big Bear AI. We got a few prints here. Here we go, Joseph. We're waiting at 69s. There's a seller at 67. It's a large amount of shares there that's not really being taken off the level 2. There we go, 68s now showing. Okay, back down to 67s. So we'll keep tabs on that. And then PRME, we're doing that live as well. Cover it, Joey.
No, I'm just saying, for you. I'm trying to hype you up there, brother. But we're still working out. This is what I'm talking about, guys. We have now those lower highs. It's exactly what I told you guys. We're doing it live. As things were happening, I'm like, this is the game plan. I mentioned this yesterday. Plan the trade, trade the plan. It's that simple. It's truly not that simple. Easier said than done, but you'll be much better off if you're like, hey, I have this idea. You write it down, you plan it out, and then you put those orders out to execute. I'll say it one more time. Plan the trade, trade the plan. It's almost that simple. We did that in the likes of Google with our swing trade, Nvidia with their swing trade. We didn't get exactly what we wanted with Apple, but I'm like, let me get my my feet dirty here at least and get in some shares, and that's exactly what we did last night at 208. We climb up to 213, and I mentioned that 220 may be in the works, but there is some open interest. With that being said, we're going to pull up the options change, as we usually do, on AAPL, and this is what I'm keeping my eye on. I said this multiple days ago as well. It's not going to take much for this thing to really get humming. And sure enough, we get that Anthropic, we get that Scale AI if things go south. But the way I'm looking at it there, Sharif, is that a plan B? And sometimes you don't necessarily want a plan B when you're all in on something. But unfortunately, series hot garbage, and they need to get that sorted out. But there it is, 210.
Yes, I love it.
40,
get amped up, Joey.
40,000 current open contracts. I'm telling you right now, if that is lifted by next Monday to 215 or 220, watch out for those specific price targets. And you best be taking advantage of that. I'm going to say it one more time before I send it off to you.
You best be taken.
No. Plan the trade, trade the plan. And that's it. Done.
Bang, I love it. The energy's live today, guys. We're absolutely loving it over here. Obviously, it is a holiday shortened week. Don't forget, tomorrow is a half day. And we're going to be on for an hour and a half tomorrow, Joseph, myself. So we'll do the midday show a little bit longer than we typically do. But we're going to be trading these small cap gappers.
No, 10 to 10. We're on 2 hours.
2 hours. Excuse me. My mistake.
10 to lunchtime.
10 to lunchtime. My mistake there, Joey. I apologize about that. So we're going to be on tomorrow. We're doing it live. Let's talk about SONN, though. We got to talk about this one. So great question by somebody in the chat. I forget who it is, but thank you for your question. Won't it lose momentum now that it's halted? Asked the individual in the chat. Well, that's a great question. And the answer is yes and no. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. How can we tell what's happening during the halt? Well, over here on stocks that trade on the Nasdaq, you will be able to see the theoretical auction price during the halt. And you're going to see that over here, TAP, T-A-P, theoretical auction price. Show me $3. Well, where did we halt? We halted at 285. So what's happening during the halt is the exchange is pairing buy and sell orders that are coming in during the halt. And if there's an imbalance one way or the other, more buy orders and sell orders, you'll have a higher theoretical auction price than the halt price. If you have more sell orders than buy orders after the pairing and there's an excess of sell orders, you'll have a theoretical auction price lower than the halt price. Right now, we're showing 302s, 301, now down to 3. So we still have a 15 penny imbalance. That means if all is according to plan, so to speak, we will open up at $3. That doesn't mean there won't be volatility at the open. Oftentimes, what you'll see this one do is zig and zag up, down, and then, choose a direction off which it wants to go. So right now, we halted at 11:38.45. So this will likely be a 10-minute halt. Let me open up my atomic clock here. So it is 11:44.22. This one will be a 10-minute halt. We have passed the 5-minute mark on this one. So let's keep an eye on SONN. Likely will open up the earliest currently it can open up is 11:48:45. So you add 10 minutes onto that last entry there on the time and sales. So let's keep an eye on that. Big Bear AI, we're still keeping an eye on that one. I've only got one beak wetter left. Now, look, this one is putting in a lower high. So the high of the day, 785. That other area couldn't clear 770. So that's a bit of a problem. So we'll keep an eye here on Big Bear AI. Now, if this one comes into VWAP, I'd be a lot more interested in picking this up on VWAP. 732, 733, give or take, something like that. Now, if it holds a 10 exponential moving average, which it's currently doing, we're gonna get in more on this one. In fact, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get in more here, and then we're gonna basically move up the stop to prior bar low, which takes me to about 751. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna wait at 7, yeah, we'll go like that, and then we'll go just like this. So that's what we're doing here on the Baird one. Oh, wow, right up we go again. Let's set up more orders into the 60s. So that's what we're doing now. Keep an eye out on that one. Last but not least here, Joey, before we send it back to you, PRME. Issues with this one. The volume is drying up. That doesn't bode well for a long, okay? We need volume to keep the higher highs and the higher lows going. So PRME, although it is above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, the volume is significantly dropping off here. That is a warning sign. Be on the lookout now. I'm going to be on the lookout. I'm going to move up my stop to break even, Joseph.
Good look there, guys. All right, Microsoft starting to come back in. That's Lululemon. What do I have that? Garbage up there. Hey, we're gonna pull up Lulu. I heard that one. Get it, Lulu. Okay, so some of the big names are starting to crawl back in here, guys. So come back in. Nvidia is bouncing off of some levels, but the price action seems relatively weak. So we got a big time battle between the bears and the bulls right now, I think. So you can see that Microsoft and Apple look like they kind of want to break down, but then we have the likes of Google and Nvidia who are starting to climb back. So yeah, it's really tough when you're shorting this market because you have to keep your eye on so many things, opposed to just one specific underlying asset. All right, Webull, Thomas, I will talk about this for you because this thing is still going higher and higher. Wow, what a low of $12. Wow, I did not, this thing was like 60, 70 bucks at the high, 80 bucks to be exact, roughly. Jeez. And then sure enough, we're trading at like 12, 13. So that is not a good look, but yeah, Webull putting in a big time day. I can pull this up on my chart for you guys, BULL. Are you long that thing, Katina Man, or what?
He's long at 11 bucks.
Oh, okay. Intraday?
Jeez.
Intraday here today? Oh, PA? Okay. So there you go. He's got a nice swing alert. Mitch.
Swing
alert
it,
on that one there. So yeah, Webull 8% on the day and continuing to climb higher. Way to call that one out, Thomas. I like that trade. Excuse me. It's a big time move.
The Katina Man is $2 in the money on Amazon, guys. Keep your eye on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's looking really good. That's one that we're going to have to pull up as well, too. CCL is what I want to touch on here momentarily before I send it back to you, Sharif, because this thing has been climbing higher as well. And I'm like, wow, CCL, who would have thought this at this point? CCL continuously putting in some monster sessions and up almost 3% on the day. 2 and a third there, 2/3 to be exact, or 3/4 we'll call it. Closer to that. Boom. So that's exactly what I was looking for. Sometimes the brain's just moving too fast and you can't think of the next word that you want to say, but it happens. So 2.8% on CCL, another monstrous day coming out of some of these cruise lines. We've seen RCL doing it relatively, putting in all-time highs as well. And there you go, you got CCL continuing the climb.
Why are they doing it live, though?
It's debatable. It's debatable. Well, I had to think about it, right? I want to say, they're doing it live, but then we're also not trading it live. But,
fair.
But we totally can trade it live.
Guys, we're 10 seconds away, give or take 5 seconds now from the open. Let's go back here, possible open. If this is going to be a 10-minute halt, there it is. We are now open on SONN. It's above $3, 311 high. Keep your eye out on that 3 level. That could be a good support level here. The halt level, by the way, is 286. So keep your eye on that 286. It already tested 286. It already tested it. So here we go. SONN dipping below 3. Here we go. Right back down into 286. Keeping my eye out on that. I'm trying to think of whether I should be punching in here or not. I can get in here and then give it to basically 286. Yeah, right back down though. So I'm just trying to keep my eye on whether it's going to hold 3 and whether it's going to hold that 286 level as well. So 2 different levels that we're looking at here. It's basically straddling 3 with very clear direction as to where it's going to go. The reason I say that 286, 285 level is because that's the halt level. So I've mentioned this before. These are intraday areas of support and resistance on these small cap gappers. Here we go, punching back into the highs. Do we get that move? What do we do? What do we do? All right, back into 3 here again. Joseph, below 3. Let's punch. So we're going to go ahead here. Take it over for a sec.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I got to pull up another chart here. Come on, let's go market. Yeah, we could squeeze here on the day, though, guys. I think at some point we will come back into the volume-weighted average price. You just have to be patient enough in order to do so. Considering it's taking so long for us to have this climb down, I would not be surprised if you see some form of liquidity grab. It establishes a new high, and then it curls over after that. So that's why it's key to just stick to your stops, get out when you're supposed to, and leave enough ammunition in the magazine so you can continuously take those trades. Did you just hit that?
The Katina man hit it.
Katina hit it. I thought you were hitting it over there on what you got going on. So you're in 3 names, Sharif. I'm short the overall market, but it looks like that this is a bullish day as my guy Katina man has been absolutely killing it. Adara, what do you got for us?
I have an interesting little story here. On, I guess, the ongoing animosity that is being experienced towards Fed Chair Powell. And as I often like to do, there's a little visual. This man right here, his name is William Pulte, or Bill Pulte. I think he tends to go by Bill. But he just announced that, and in case you guys don't know who he is, he's actually the leader of the Federal Housing and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac group. So he's the chairman of that group, and he just announced that they're looking, or he's asking Congress to investigate Fed Chair Jerome Powell for, quote, his political bias and his deceptive Senate testimony, which is enough to be removed for cause. Jerome Powell's $2.5 billion building renovation scandal stinks to high heaven, and he lied when asked about the specifics before Congress. This is nothing short of malfeasance and is worthy of for cause. So now it looks like they're trying to foul Jay Powell with just, fire Jerome Powell with only about 10 months left in his term. Pretty wild here. Let's see what happens. But it is worth noting, William Pulte has previously spoken. He's been very outspoken about not being a fan of Jerome Powell and saying that he should leave or resign. So interesting look here for Fed Chair Jerome Powell. More hits being taken for this man. Back to you.
Good work there, Shaggy. I'm glad that you did that. But yeah, for Bull, I have other things, right? Bull is just not on. Not on my watch list. But I'm glad that you did that. So we'll just say what he's done. Shaggy 937. Joe, I tried to advise you selling $10 puts on Bull. I appreciate that one. $10 because that's where it would like to have bought it. Sold at 50 cents. Bought those back at $1. So congratulations. Hopefully you bought multiple contracts and locked in some of that premium. But by all means, you don't even want to own the stock, so you just buy back those contracts. Nice work there, and I'm glad that that's working out for you, because it's always nice when you can just collect a little premium, some passive income, have that in the account, and just continuously do so. So yeah, really good luck. We're starting to climb higher. Google, pull back in. Let's go. Amazon, have you topped? I don't know, but a nice indecision print on the 5-minute. But when it broke out, I know Katina Man was short around here, so we got a couple dollars off of this, but now we're starting to print an inverted. So let's see if we get that move back towards VWAP. If Amazon, Google, and Microsoft continue this selling, I think that we have a good chance of getting into VWAP on the TQs. At what point are we overextended in this overall market, being up 36.5% off of Liberation Day? I don't know. As Obi would like to say, just listen to what the price is telling you. And is it telling me to short right now? Not necessarily. Am I front running? Yes, to the individual who had asked me, how could you short this market? It's easy as punching a couple keys. If you want to get smart, then we'll get smart. You hit a couple buttons, and then sure enough, you're short. And if you do the inverse, you're long. So there it is. I'm short the market. Yeah. Yeah, last time I checked, no?
Usually I'm the one getting fired up. I love it when you're getting fired up. It doesn't make me look like I'm the one always.
Dude, I got so much going on right now. It's actually chaotic. My brain is just spinning, and it's just a zero tolerance day from your joke. I got a rock headache. This is going on behind me. We're having a good time. I'm going for a run after this, best believe. And who knows, I'm most... Yeah, I'm trying.
I love it, bro.
You not hear me essentially yelling right now?
Assassino's trolling you, bro. He knows exactly what's going on.
You know what I mean?
Assassino,
well,
man,
I'm over here yelling. Assassino's in my ear to pour more salt in. And when he said, we got to speak up, Joe, I don't know how much louder your boy can get. Otherwise, I'm going to get in that angry voice, and you don't necessarily want to see that. But we got some things going on. Let's go, Amazon. The chat's loving it. And that's all I got to say right now. We're short. Let's get that breakdown. We crack 82 on the TQs, then that's going to be a key support level that's now broken. And I think we get an additional leg lower to the short side. As you see right now, we are forming those lower highs. So that's something positive that we can mark down in our books. And if it decides to crack it, then we might have to get out of this trade because you might get that additional leg higher.
All right, guys, taking prints here on SONN, but it's coming back down. So I've kind of bought the 10 exponential pullback. Let's see if it wants to pop off that 10 EMA or whether it breaks back down. It's been an interesting one, this one. So keeping my eye on this one. It does seem to have a little bit of support here at around 65. Where are we long now? We're 79, excuse me, long. So we're out of the money currently, but it's still above the 10 EMA. I do like this area also for this hold around this price action previous area of resistance. So SONN, I can't believe how many fills we've had on this one. This has been crazy here on SONN, but it is having trouble now with that $0.75 level. Let's see if it can pop back up and take out some level in the 80s. Big Bear still, where do we break even on that one? Not really doing a whole lot there. As well as PRME, that's likely going to stop out in a very, very short time as that's lost the 10 EMA on the 5. So what I'm trying to focus on right now is SONN. We got shares on this one, so let's keep an eye out there. It's having a lot of trouble taking out 80s now. That is not good because 80s was a previous area of resistance, and this is what I want to show you on the 5. Look at that, 80, rejection, or bounce, bounce. 3 times it bounced there and then it moves up and it can't clear 80. That is probably an invitation for me to get the hell out of there, and that's why I just got stopped out of SONN. So keep your eye out on that one. I'm going to be looking for that 2.25 now where there is the volume weighted average price. So I'm not going to get into this one until and if it comes back into that 2.25 SONN on the rampage right now. We just went negatory on it, but that's okay. We'll look to get back break even on this one. I can't believe how many outs we have for profit and now we're negative on it. That's because you take big share size and when it goes against you, you get hit. So I'm going to keep the attitude up and we'll keep focusing on this one at the right levels. Now, that $2.50 area on SONN is important as well because we've seen how this one had multiple resistance areas and that's why we were taking prints there. So if it does hold up at 2.5, that could be an interesting area as well. Here we are at that 2.5. We don't have to wait too long to find out whether or not this is going to be a good area of support. Now, I'm looking here to see where the exact area of buying is, and it's a little bit below 2.5, actually. It's like high 40s, give or take. So, you know, let's see what we get there on this one. Quickly, I want to go to PRME because I want to stop out of this one because this one is losing the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Well, full disclosure, we don't really have a whole lot of size on PRME, so I don't mind giving this a little bit more room. In fact, that's kind of what I planned for with that dollar cost average there. So we'll keep tabs, excuse me, on that one, Joseph.
Perfect stuff. Yeah, thanks everyone in the chat. I know you guys are loving this. I know a lot of people are saying Bitcoin 170. I don't know where you guys are seeing that. That's not the case. I think we're roughly around 108 now. So that's going to be key. Let's pull up the Bitcoin itself from a different chart here so we can see, have we cracked that trend line? If so, then I think there's going to be a good opportunity for a trade. And one thing when you're swing trading, and I'm finding out myself, is like you don't want to spread yourself too thin because you want to have the ability to punch heavy on high quality and high momentum setups, so high conviction setups, I should say, sorry. So there it is. We're now knocking on 109 once again. If we open up above this, I think that's going to be a fantastic opportunity to grab some, and then you can take that additional leg higher. And like I've talked about this multiple times here, guys, is that I'm surprised that even though we are from, I guess that's Liberation Day lows as well too, we're up 45% in Bitcoin. But the one thing that's been frustrating for me about this underlying is that, look, we go here, this is shortly after, I think IBIT IPO'd somewhere around these neck of the woods, February or whatever. But then you go in this 8-month consolidation, you get this nice little move. You go into another multi-month consolidation, you pull back about half of that move there, and then you get 45% move, and then now you're in another multi-month consolidation. So it's like, okay, what's going on here? Like, let's break up. Everybody's buying this stuff hand over fist. And someone in the chat mentioned this to me the other day as well, which I think is a valid point, is that the market makers are just trying to liquidate all the over-leveraged individuals, chopping them around, people that don't have those diamond Deontay Wilder hands. They just get shook out. So with that being said, we sit on top of 109, 110, then I think that's the move that we get to 1.25 there, Sharif. So yeah, let's go Bitcoin, another 45% move. I would love to see a $250,000. Like, at what point are all the naysayers going to be like, all right, we were wrong at this thing? Does it have to be $500,000, $1 million? I don't really know. Whatever you're going to be happy with, I guess. But at some point, I think we do see $250,000. Tom Lee, my guy, says a quarter, 2.5, so 250,000 by the end of 2026, which is very, very interesting. So at least I think that's his base case, bullish case. You can see 350 something or anything along those lines. So yeah, it's been 107 for a while. You sit on top of this range. You can see these lower highs. But once you crack that trend line, sit on top and watch for that move higher, guys.
All right, guys. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going right there.
All right. Oh, it's happening now?
Yeah.
We'll start here by thanking our friends at Top One Futures. Are you looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, SPY, or even Bitcoin? Because Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there, Sharif. They give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. Pick your path. Instant funded, challenge, or pro account, and even start trading your way to real payouts and maybe a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they've paid out over $10 million, and they've earned 1,000 plus 5-star reviews from real traders. Use the discount code TTV to save on any account and scan the QR code or head to top1futures.com. That's top1futures.com and start trading towards your next payout. So this is the S&P 500. Nice little, I guess, glide towards the upside here for the SPY, though we're already pretty close to taking out the low of this most recent 15-minute candle, up about 0.25% of the day. Nasdaq, bit of a smoother path, but we're much more removed from our day's highs on the Nasdaq than we are on the S&P 500. So a little bit of distinct differences coming through for some of these indices. Here's Lululemon. This one is breaking just a little bit below VWAP. Lots of volatility in these retailers, including Lululemon, Deckers, and Nike. Basically, we did have Donald Trump announce a trade agreement with Vietnam. This initial tweet posted, or sorry, Truth Social post, sent the market to the upside. Then we got some clarification about a 40% tariff on transshipped goods, and that led to a little bit of a drop back to the downside. Speaking of drops to the downside, CNC is still near day's lows. Centene sending a lot of weakness as well in other health insurance names like UNH after rescinding its 2025 guidance. So lots to look at today, that is for sure. No Neil, no lesson of the day, but we'll send you back to those Bash Brothers.
Thank you for that, Adara. Ram.
Where are you? I sent you something.
There's beef. Your title there.
Yeah.
Displeasing Joe.
Well, it's not. Everybody in the chat's kind of mentioned it.
Right. No, the 170,000
Yeah,
thing. He wants
170.
$250,000, Ram.
No. What it
bad.
is, it hits 107K. We're at 107, not 170,000.
You see what he's saying?
Yeah. So
She's giving you a look, isn't she? Because I'm
well,
looking at the
I'm
screen
just letting,
over here. I don't know
I'm
what's
just
going
letting
on.
you know whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You're not in, obviously you're not getting in any trouble, but I mean, 170K, we'll take it. I will most definitely take it. Yeah, 107. And I said 107. You literally asked me, you're like, what's crypto at? I'm like 107,000. And then sure enough, we got 170,000. Save it now. We're gonna save that image because when it does hit 170,000, it's we're gonna have a watch party there, Sharif. All right.
All right, man.
Go ahead. Sorry, one thing before you send it back. All right. So now you can see we're continuously rejecting this level. That's a positive sign. At what point is Google going to be overextended as it's starting to come back in here as well, too, guys? Keep an eye out on this stuff. We cracked through that 82, as I mentioned earlier before, then I think we have the ability to get to VWAP there, Sharif.
All right, guys, we're back in SONN here, looking for that $0.50 hold back up to 62 as we go. All right, we take a quick print there. Let's see if we can continue moving up here. Nice breakout on the 5-second chart, but, you know, obviously it is the 5-second chart, so let's not put too much stock into that. 62 seller here, and can't shake them. There was a seller at 55, we couldn't shake. Now there's a seller at 62, we can't shake. It rejects. We are unable to clear that level. In fact, I was waiting at 63. Kind of funny there. It's back up to 62 we go, and we reject again. So I'm keeping my eye on the 5-second chart. We've taken out some key levels there, but we don't have any parabolic kind of price movement to the high side like we did earlier later on. Now there's that 62 seller again. We can't shake them. We show 63 momentarily, but we're not getting the print at 63. There we go, right back up into 63 again. Can't pass that level. Interesting. So I think the trend may be possibly on my side here. Kind of hard to tell. We are putting in higher highs and higher lows, but there it goes right back down again into the mid 50s. So SONN feels like the best trade is a little bit behind this one. So we'll extract some profits to the high side, but coming right back down into my entry again. I'm keeping an eye on Big Bear AI as well as PRME. Both those ones we're involved in with much smaller size. Therefore, I can kind of just pack my patience on this one. Keeping my eye on SONN. Still holding at $0.50. Hasn't made a new candle to make a new low. Now the current volume weighted average price, 228. So this candle closed with a lower high, but with a higher low technically. I'm talking about the 5-minute candle. Back to the volume weighted average price, it'll have to dip down into about that $0.25 area. So zigging and zagging at that 50 penny area. I don't want to DCA into the volume weighted average price. I'd rather just get stopped out and then add into the volume weighted average price if it holds. I don't like this look at the current candle, so I'm looking to possibly get out here, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, guys. All right, yeah, Bitcoin 109,000. We started to trade into 62, so that's big here. I think the all-time high in IBIT is only around 64. The market is really squeezing, and this thing is climbing with velocity. So yeah, let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint here, guys. So what is that all-time high there on IBIT? Around $64. So this is some big-time moves that we're experiencing. That's going to put us around 112 and 113 on spot itself. So keep that in mind. A big-time move. This is exactly what we want to see. And then come tomorrow, we sit on top of that trend line. Look to take advantage of that potential breakout as you are pushing through that top end of that range as well here right now, guys. So keep that in mind. Be patient. If you want to front run, just understand that it could be possibly be a fake break. I'm not saying that it is. Don't take it for that's exactly what I'm saying, but just be cautious on what's happened. We've seen it multiple times, but you can see that we have a nice hammer candle below some key support levels, and then now we're getting that bounce. You hold that downtrend, then you're going to be looking for a good bounce play in IBIT. And then, yeah, again, I think the next move is 130, 125. I think that's the kind of steam that it has. And again, that would be about roughly a 20 to 30% move from where we're currently trading at. And also with my TQ short, you can see that we're currently struggling to break through these certain levels. Apple does seem like it wants to break some support. But then when you have the likes of Microsoft starting to climb higher, and then Meta doesn't know what it wants to do. It wants to go left, right, up, or down. It has no idea. So it's kind of just stuck in limbo there, guys. And Google still hovering around those highs. So keep that in mind. Until Google starts to sell, and I think the market is really following what Google's up to today, unless you get that VWAP retracement back to Google, you might get a squeeze, and I might get squeezed out of this trade. So I'm going to be cautious on what's going on here. And especially if Nvidia decides that it wants to head towards that high of the day. Sorry for just continuously talking about the mag, but this is what we want to cover, some of the largest floats out there, and I'm short the overall market. So if this goes to the high of the day, I will be out of my TQs trade far before then, because that means that the overall market will have put in a new high of the day as well too there, Sharif.
All right, guys, we're still defending here the volume weighted average price on SONN, but this is make or break time. If it loses VWAP, that's going to have to be the end of the trade. There won't be any more DCAs below that. So I moved my stop down to give it a little bit below VWAP so that I don't get stop hunted. So we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. We're going to throw in now all our orders and come what may. So let's layer the possible pops on this one. So if it does catch a bid, we do get some prints. Otherwise, we'll get stopped out. And I feel like this trade will not go my way here, even though VWAP has been support, at least initially on the way up over here. You can see exactly what it did throughout the day. The last time or the first time you clearly saw VWAP support was at 1055. Then you saw it again at 1130. And here we are back into the volume weighted average price, but not really moving up with any aggression. I did add into this BBAI long over here, so we're long 55s, and we got shares on this one, so let's take out some more here. On BBAI, seeing a lot of bottoming tail candles into 7.5, which makes me feel that, you know, there is a buyer of note at that $0.50. So I did punch in a larger position into this one. So let's go ahead and wait over here as well. So we'll layer some orders on the big bared one and see if we can get a nice spike up. Wow. Where are we long here? I'm 54 is showing me 57. Not bad, but not great either. And then last but not least, PRME, neither really out of the money nor in the money that much. We're showing 25s. I'm long 27s. I didn't add anything around here because it didn't really come into the volume weighted average price. It seems to have found support, ironically enough, at the 20 exponential. Now, what I'm going to be waiting for to see if it can clear the 10 EMA on a closing basis, which would be, you know, above 27 or 28s, something like that. And if it does do that, then I'm going to punch in back onto this one. Now, this one's not really a fast mover, PRME, so you can take more time to make the decisions on this one, or so my observation has been. PRME up 19, almost 0.5%, not quite there yet. Big Bear AI still showing me bottoming tail candles, so there is a buyer at 7.5, but there's also an equally strong seller, it seems like, here in the high 50s, maybe low 60s, so we can't really shake that seller, or can't, at least for the moment. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now. Big Bear AI, PRME. I don't mind adding, again, like I said, to PRME at this level. In fact, we don't even have that much size, so we're going to go ahead and add here, Joseph. Oh, that's not what we want to do. We don't want to do that. Right, there we go. So we will add into this position over here on the way up, which doesn't give me the best price, but I'm okay with that. And then we'll set up, no, that's not what we want to do, Joseph. All right, there we go. I'll keep hitting that move up. There we go. So we'll layer the orders there and see if we can catch anything nicely to the high side here on PRME. Oh my goodness. Keep screwing that up, brother. All right, I'm gonna let that one run. If it pops up, then I can deal with it at the time. Vaughn Clark, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Can we take a look at Ford? Absolutely. Do you want to look at that for him?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at Ford here, guys. A lot of things running. I'm all out of the TQs trade as well, too. So we'll just avoid that for now, even if it decides that it wants to come back in. Pure liquidity grab earlier. But Ford has been on a couple of sessions where it's just been on some big-time moves. You see that we could trade from all the way up from 1079 up to 1138. And then now that trend continuation has most definitely come into play. But let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint here, guys. All right, so that's the thing, right? So you're now through, and that's really important to note. So you had this massive resistance zone, now acting as support. You open up above that, and now we're getting the continuation in the break. What is that next move? Enter the gap. That could be another key level of resistance because sellers could be selling it. Sellers can step in and start pushing price action back down. But there it is. The Ford, nice volume supporting this move. You cracked through multiple key levels here at that 1050, and then now you're sitting on this prior resistance zone acting as support. And I think that next step is to enter that gap. And once you enter that gap, I would look for about a 40 to 50% fill of it, and then you would get a pullback. So Ford, some really good looks as you're experiencing right here. And Vaughn Clark, thank you very much for that $5 super chat. But things are looking good here and optimistic from a technical standpoint in Ford there, guys. All right, let's break down this TQs trade. So there it is. Once you've seen this engulfing candle and the volume step in, we're right above this range, right? I told you guys if we break this and we open up above that range, then I'll just hop out of that trade. We can take one more stab at it, 3 strikes, you're out. I suggest a lot of traders use that methodology. If you start hammering things, I mean, in your earlier days, you can take multiple stabs, but I think as you get more experience, and the traders in the chat can probably confirm, is that, okay, after a certain amount of attempts, I'm not really thinking straight. I'm not accepting that the fact that my thesis is not necessarily working. But just understand that your timing may be off, and that's where you have to become more precise and more patient to wait for that specific entry. 3 strikes, you're out. You give it that 4th one and you take a massive loss, the only person to blame is yourself, all right? So we do have one more attempt. These are the only 2 trades I've taken here on the day. I do believe that the market is slightly extended, but if Microsoft wants to break out, then we're going to be in big time trouble, and you don't want to be shorting that market. So sometimes it's just best to completely void certain setups and certain strategies that you would use on certain days, all right? So it's like, okay, you're looking for that reversion day, market's trending, just eliminate that from your pullback, from your playbook, and then just look for the strength and continuation within strength, right? It makes it that much easier instead of you here scratching your head, wasting and expending mental capital, because that's not what you want to do. You want to go with the flow, and you don't necessarily want to fight these trends. And with that being said, I'm talking myself into not taking another TQ's trade, regardless of what is happening. All right, so there you go. I had to raise my voice as walls are coming down here, guys. Walls are coming down. It's a
walls of Jericho.
It's a battle zone. There's no questioning that. There's the plumbing. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm pointing at. But there's the copper pipe that we're running. They got that issue resolved, you're saying?
They did. It hasn't been moved because like we still see them right there, but we got to get authorization.
The planning is done.
Yes,
okay, that's something positive. I mean, is there an opportunity to get back into the TQs? Yes, it's very enticing. It's very lucrative, but I don't want to get sucked into that. I'd rather find something else, Sharif.
All right, guys, in the Big Bear added on that dip here, but we'll see if this one ends up jiving. Big Bear is okay. We're 1 penny out of the money right now on Big Bear. It's really SONN that I'm worried about. But PRME, we're taking Prince to the high side on this one. So this one does look like it is finding support now. SONN hasn't given up VWAP, but it's having a lot of trouble here at 44s, it looks like. So it's been putting in lower highs. Full disclosure. So this is what I'm looking at right here on SONN. Initially, there was a seller at 45. Then you can kind of see they worked their way down to 44. And now they're working their way down to 43. So this is what Adara calls the bid creep or the ask creep. Adara, is it an ask creep if it's negative or bid creep if it's negative?
So bid creep is like if I'm seeing the bid slowly increase. So like, for example, you're going from like, I don't know, $5.25, $5.26,
yeah.
$5. And I feel like you notice them more acutely on these slow-moving spready stocks because it's like it's very intentional, and a lot of times spread can just be whoop, whoop. And then ask creep is the exact ask creep.
So it's the ask creep.
It's the exact
then,
opposite, right? Is it's just like you're gonna see a slight. It's really, if I'm trying to go short, I'm gonna look for potentially an ask creep. If I'm trying to go long, I'm gonna see if there's a bid creep. These just kind of confirm entries, and it's not really gonna matter as much if it's at a random price point, but if it's at a key level and you're seeing this, that's when it becomes significant.
Makes sense. Thank you, Adira. So essentially, that's kind of what I'm seeing. So now that we've ironed that out, it feels like the ask creep is in effect right now with the lower high on every single area crest. So that's what I'm concerned about. We're still above the volume weighted average price. There does seem to be buyers in and around that area. But this one, we've got a big position on this one right now. So if it ends up dropping, we are going to go negatory on it. So that's full disclosure. Keeping an eye on Big Bear AI and keeping an eye on PRME. Those are the ones that I'm looking at. I realize that it sounds a lot like AS. I get it. But it's ASK is what we mean there. Shout out to the chat. They never let anything go by. But Jake Roberts says that that's his. Yeah. That's a funny one. You know, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'd find it funny. William Larson, $10 super chat. Thank you very much, my man. Can you guys give a quick analysis of energy stocks like CEG or OKLO? They've been out of the news, but I'm wondering what you think. Absolutely, my man. Let me just have a look here quickly at Big Bear. So we're moving up nicely here on Big Bear, at least for for my entry. We're not really breaking out, but we took a couple of prints. Let's look at OKLO, and then I'll let Joey Options look at Constellation Energy, CEG. I'll look at OKLO. This is the name that we all know Altman has been involved in. This is the weekly chart on OKLO. Higher lows, higher highs. That's what I see immediately. Area trough, area crest, okay? So we're on an uptrend. Now let's go down to the daily, see a little bit more nuanced of a look over here. So where do we have support? You gotta love that it's finding support even on the big retracements. Look at that, holding support at the 200. So the blue line is the 200 exponential, the orange is the 200 simple. And I keep both of them on there for obvious reasons. They both come in to play. So I do like how it's respecting that trend, and I do like how buyers are picking it up off there. So that's the daily. Let's go now to the, let's go to the hour, 4 hour here, just get a better look about what the trend has been as of late. Do we have support anywhere over here? So didn't really respect that area crest at 55. It's broken down below it. We have support at 45. So there could be some support at 45. That owes to back in June, I believe. So that's a look there. Otherwise, I'd be waiting for the simple moving average or the exponential on the daily. That would be my look, brother. I hope you absolutely kill it on that. I do like the nuclear names, full disclosure. I think that that's going to be a big story with AI. We know how power-hungry AI is, Joseph, and that obviously requires more power. We know also that China's adding terawatts. And we're not even adding gigawatts. We're adding megawatts. So clearly, to keep up in the AI race with China, we're going to have to, pick it up a little bit over here. All right, back to SONN. Looks like it may want to possibly clear that $0.5. Not quite yet. It took out that 45 level, but not able to clear the $0.5, Joseph. So we got 47s on. That means bupkis to me right now.
Bupkis. All right, guys, let's check this out. Savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leverage ETF featuring the built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market.
Yes.
Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing.
Do it before investing.
There you go.
So that you don't get upset, if things don't go your way, right?
There you go. Oh, yeah, we're going to Adair here, guys.
Go ahead, Adair.
Here is AAPL a couple minutes ago, around when we got this little push here. We got a post from Ming-Chi Kuo. This is noted supply chain analyst, frequently opining here about Apple. And he basically posted on this report suggesting, this came out earlier today, suggesting that Foxconn is asking Chinese employees to return home from its India phone plant. He actually dismissed this report, not saying that it's not happening, but he said that the impacts are quote unquote negligible because there were already not that many Chinese employees at the India iPhone facility to begin with, and the production capabilities at the India facility were already established by the company's Taiwanese employees, not the Chinese employees. So the return of these employees apparently also planned for some time. Basically, Ming-Chi Kuo providing a little reality check for a story reported earlier today about Foxconn employees moving from India back to China. Back to you.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting story, Adair. I'll weasel in for a second because we've heard, I'm sure, I don't need to tell you, Adair, because I know you read this stuff all the time, but Taiwan Semi, they are having trouble finding people with the right technical skills to actually employ in the new U.S. foundries, which kind of builds on the point that this is such a technical job. It's not just about opening a factory in India, Dara. It's not just opening a factory in Arizona. You got to have the personnel in order to be able to kind of staff it, and that staff needs to be highly technical. And we all know how Taiwan Semi lives over there in Taiwan. Oh, yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it is worth noting, like Taiwan Semi, I think everyone to some extent probably try to compete with them in terms of their scale as well, right? Like, we know Intel try to compete with Taiwan Semi. I think in terms of the level of skill, it'll be interesting to see how they siphon off all their employees amongst their different plants, especially with this new U.S. plant coming. And we know Donald Trump has been very, very excited about C.C. Wei, that's the CEO of Taiwan Semi, coming over and announcing this. So yeah, I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I think the degree to which they're expanding you're right, could lead to, I guess, an exposure of how limited and specific the talents are. It's my
Thank you, Dara.
Yeah, fair enough. Talent pool issues. Yes, there. So, yeah, all right, guys. I don't know if we're going to take another stab at this short here. Google's starting to come back in. Microsoft didn't break up and head towards those highs of the day, is now heading back towards VWAP. But the one thing that is kind of making me slightly hesitant is Nvidia. I do believe at some point that we are going to reject 160. It's just a matter of fact doesn't want to climb to around the 159s and even maybe slightly breach 160 before it decides to turn over. And the reason why I'm saying this is just because we have so much data backing the fact that, hey, yeah, right around that 160 strike, with that 134,000 open contracts, that we will eventually probably reject that unless we get a big momentum or volatility spike that says, hey, we have enough participants to absorb the supply zone, and then we have demand north of that. But I don't see that necessarily being the case, considering how much we've just been grinding throughout the session, and the volume profile is starting to cool off a little bit as well there too, Sharif. So.
All right, guys, let me know when Assassino. I know it was like not in close time. All right. By the way, guys, stopped out. We're going to take an L here on SONN. So we did get the breakout above that 50 penny area. We got well above it, but then what I saw subsequent to that is why I got out, and I'm very pleased with the fact that I got out, because look what it is doing. So when you have a breach of a technical area like that, and then you have aggressive selling, and I'm going to show it to you on the 5 second, because I think it makes the case a lot clearer here. So just allow me a minute to load this up. I know we got to do this Assassino, but I want to show them this is very important. This is the 5 second chart on SONN. If it'll load here anytime, please, and thank you. Oh God, yeah, always embarrassing me like that. There we go. So we get that breakout of 50 pennies, and then look what happened. An aggressive drop. Now, I felt bad initially getting out, because I'm like, oh, it's going to hold up at VWAP. Look at it pop up. I'm such a schmuck. No. That break of the technical level at 50 pennies followed by that kind of selling tells me that somebody was setting us up. Right? That wait until they break through that 50 penny area to kind of feel like we're going to round it bottom off the volume weighted average price, and then you get in that big sell, that big short order to tank this one down. So I'm happy where I got out. I'm not pleased that I lost money on it, especially having been positive on it, but that's the way trading is. All right, guys, what do we got? Trade the pool. All right. Trade the pool, guys. We got another behind the scenes look at Trade the Pool, but this time we're diving into the community side of Trade the Pool. As you know, each trader gets his or own hub, and inside one you'll find Trade Talk. It's a powerful charting and analysis space where traders map out strategies, break down setups, and share predictions with the community. You gotta love that, bro. Especially if you're trading at home, you know you need a community. And if you're looking for real-time interactive software, the Trade the Pool Discord is where you've got to visit. It's full of active traders sharing insights, trades, and tips on how to grow together. At Trade the Pool, you're not trading alone. You're joining a firm that invests in your growth, guys, technically, mentally, and financially. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, and you should be, head on over to tradethepool.com or scan that QR code on the screen. Shout out to Mitch and everybody at Trade the Pool. Thank you guys for that. All right, let's see what we got over here. It just looks like my chat just a little messed up. Jacques wants me to look at MLGO. You and my very good friend Bovin have been telling me to do that. Sorry, Bovin, I wasn't able to respond to you today because I really had to kind of keep focus on SONN. Looks like I should have been listening to you because I ended up losing money on SONN, but that's the way she goes. So we're going to put MLGO here, micro algo on the side chart. Who are we taking off, though? We're going to have to take off somebody here. Who is going to lose their spot? VOR is going to lose their spot. So MLGO goes on for VOR. Just allow me a minute to load that up. Oh boy, this platform has been goofy lately. There we go. Micro algo breaking up to 75 pennies. This looks good, Bovin. It's been a higher low, higher high fest here, and there hasn't even been a pullback into the 10 EMA on the 5 or anything even close to that. So this is going to be quite interesting to see whether this one continues to run into that whole dollar. Now, mind you, doesn't have a catalyst today. I'm looking at my blotter, and I don't see anything for micro algo on the day. So yeah, that's the situation there. Let's load up MLGO on the trading screen, and then we'll have a look at what the time and sales look like. Dorothy says micro algo is a reverse split. Let me have a look quickly over here to see whether or not it's showing up on my chart. Daily, I don't actually see the reverse split, Dorothy. Adara, anything on micro algo from your end? She's going to look at it, guys. We'll let you guys know. I don't see a reverse split, Dorothy, but thanks for pointing that out. I'm not sure why I don't see it here. I don't see it on the chart. Okay, Adara's got context. We're going to throw it to her when we're ready. You can weasel in, Adara. Yeah.
Hi, Sharif. Here I am weaseling in. MLGO, this thing is reverse split quite a lot. It has a 58.4% short float. I think you might have mentioned here, as far as I can tell on Trade Ideas, float of about just over 6 million shares. Now, from what I'm seeing, the stock split, I'm not sure if that's actually come into place yet, but they are holding and I cannot make this up, extraordinary meeting today, July 2nd, 2025, and it sounds like they're potentially going to be discussing the split at this meeting. This is a very long, very tightly spaced out, I guess, press release I'm seeing here, this press release back from Monday, June 16th. I'm seeing mentions of the Cayman Islands. I have to read through this a lot more, but it sounds like this extraordinary meeting taking place today could be about this potential 30-for-1 reverse split. But again, I'm not sure if it went into place or if they're just having the meeting today. I need to look more into this. I'll give you guys more details as I have more. And
thank you for that, Adair. I appreciate it. Your boy Joey Options is now at the big desk looking to set up for that meeting. In case you're wondering what we're talking about, Joseph's friend from Austin, who's been kind of really following along as well as participating in the autonomous vehicle rollout, will come on today to speak a little bit about that, about how things are going on down there. And I thought that Joseph actually thought that this would be a great opportunity for us to actually get information from on the ground individuals who are, part of this whole rollout here, with obviously Elon Musk and Tesla, Waymo, and the others all really focusing on autonomous vehicles, and that obviously being spoken about by Jensen Huang as the intersection, the first intersection between that big robotics push that we've been talking about, as well as AI, the intersection between the two type of technologies. So we will keep you guys apprised of that, and as soon as he is ready to go, we will let you know, and we'll bring you up there. Oh, they're ready. Fantastic. Assassino, take him over.
Today joining us is Bobby Godsey of Austin Energy, a good friend of mine. How are you today, Bobby?
I'm great. I'm excited about being on this show. There's so much energy on this show. I hope I can keep up.
No, I'm sure me knowing you, you'll do totally just fine. But we got a lot to talk about. Before we do, why don't you tell us a little bit about Austin Energy?
Well, let me tell you first about Austin, Texas, and what's unique about our city. So we're right in the middle of Texas, and Texas is a huge conservative state. Austin, on the other hand, is this liberal entity. And why is that? It's because we have this young culture. We have one of the biggest universities in the country here. And we're the state capital. So all our policymakers are here making policies for the state. So that creates this good vibe, young, cool, trendy, but also heavy on the tech side. So we have Google and Apple and Facebook and all those people here as well. So all those things make for a great these great pilot programs that we're seeing today with Waymo and Tesla. And Austin Energy, what we are is we're the energy company for Austin. But what's unique about us is we've been around for 130 years serving the Austin community. We're owned and operated by the city. So we're actually city employees that work for the city. So our governing body, our managers, are policymakers in the city council and the mayor. And what makes that unique is they're hired by the community. So essentially, we do what the community wants us to do. And that allows us, and they're a very, very environmentally conscious community. So that allows us to go after these cool new things like the robotaxi and the Waymos and other, West Texas wind and renewable stuff too as well. So I've been with them 10 years, and the program's been around for 15 years.
Right, yeah, fantastic stuff. And I think that's what a lot of us are anticipating and curious about. We know that Elon a couple weeks ago released the robotaxi, and Austin being a big EV space, has this been a big event for the city, and how has it impacted the current EV infrastructure?
Yeah, it's been huge. It's been awesome. It's exciting. They did that last week, I believe. And you know what they did this week? They took a car as it was manufactured, because we have a big manufacturing plant here in Austin. As it was being manufactured, it got done being manufactured, and it drove itself to the buyer here in Austin, which that was the first of its kind too. But yeah, we were just excited about it being launched. But we got to tell you that, or I'll tell you that Waymo's been around for a few years now here in Austin, and their parent company is Alphabet and Google, obviously, essentially. And Waymo is driverless. They're all over the city. They do thousands of rides every day. And so the robotaxi, the difference between the two that's interesting for us is the Waymo is on LiDAR. So they have a whole different setup of computer AI is what your friend was talking about earlier. The robotaxi is all camera based. And so he's launched it here in Austin, and he's going to prove its concept here in Austin. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Sharif, my good friend, he loves Elon and he loves the robo-taxis and everything along those lines. And fantastic as always. But as you just mentioned, you're seeing a lot of Waymo. And now that we have Tesla, or you guys have Tesla in Austin with the robo-taxi, Waymo being the more dominant one right now, do you think that there could be a potential power shift between Waymo and Elon Musk's robo-taxi?
I mean, 1,000%, right? Tesla has been a leader in the market for cars for a long time, for electric cars. Now they're moving into the transportation sector, autonomous electric vehicles. And so it's exciting, but it's also changing. They're a car maker, and they're the first car maker to do this. So they're no longer a car maker; they're a transportation company now that sells cars and also does this. So it definitely is going to shift. They just need to prove their safety concepts, and definitely it will shift the market. But Waymo's been strong; they're all over the city and they're growing. But I think the robo taxis have a space, and they're some of their technology, and y'all know Elon Musk does things uniquely. And so we anticipate the way he's going to set it up for the next several years will really advance the robotaxi. I'll give you all a comparison, and some of you guys will appreciate this. Back in the day, there used to be a VCR and Betamax, and they were in competition with each other. And the Betamax was this big old cartridge, and the VCR was small. Well, VCR won out, and what happened? VCR became the choice, and the Betamax went to the side. That's that early technology for you. But similar to this, with the robo-taxis and the ability for him to take a car that I own and it drive off. I'll give you some information about transportation. Most of us who own our vehicles, single car drivers, we go to work and park the car. We come home and park the car. It's parked 90% of the time. So if you could have that car go and do work and pick up people and move them around the city, how amazing would that be? Yeah,
that'd be absolutely amazing. So one final thing here, and now we know that the autonomy space is growing, the electrical space is growing as well, the EVs, I should say. What plans do Austin have from an infrastructure standpoint, and is there enough charging stations to keep up with the demand and the growing demand?
Yeah, well, like I said, our program's 15 years old, so we have one of the top 5 infrastructures in the United States. So we have a level 2 charging all over the city, but that doesn't work for robo-taxis and Waymo. So they need fast charging, and so we have a lot of fast charging that's online already throughout the city. But Tesla's working really hard with us to add stations in the community for the robo-taxis. Waymo already has a big setup here in the city. We also have companies unique. This is interesting for y'all. We have companies like Shell, who are notoriously gas companies, BP, which is a notorious gas company, diving into electric vehicles, and now they're setting up electric fueling stations. And we have some that are about to launch in Austin in the next 6 months, and they look like an old gas station, only they're modernized. They're much more technologies there. They're cleaner. And so they're diving into the market too. So it's not just Tesla. Tesla has a great charging infrastructure throughout the country. But all these other companies are jumping in now, Shell, BP, these oil companies. So we're excited about that. And definitely the infrastructure is improving. But we're ready. We're ready for it, Joe.
All right, nice. Sounds good. And with that being said, I'm assuming I'm going to be seeing you in Tulum on New Year's Eve. Is that true or what?
Yeah.
We'll figure out those logistics.
Sure. I can't wait.
Perfect. And all great stuff, Bobby. As always, we'll be in touch. Thank you guys very much, Bobby Godsey. There you go. Electric greater than gas. Great stuff, Bobby. Bobby Godsey, Austin Energy, guys.
See y'all.
Joseph, thank you, Bobby, for that very insightful stuff, and do appreciate you taking the time to come chat with us. Great look from somebody who's actually on the ground, and I love how he kind of prefaced the whole thing by kind of giving you the lay of the land of what Austin is like. So, and we know that there was a huge exodus from California to Austin during the pandemic, and fantastic look there. We're gonna go to Adara because there is big news right now between Marvell and Microsoft. Go ahead, Adara.
Actually, so much news on a lot of different stocks. I'll start with the Marvell Microsoft, but I have at least another story to talk about here. So the information reporting that Microsoft is scaling back its AI chip plans, facing delays and competitive pressure. They're apparently delaying their Maya 200 AI chips in 2026. They're going to be launching the Maya 280 in 2027 with that dual chiplet design. Again, they're pivoting to a less ambitious internal AI chip, design. Basically, they're still aiming to reduce their reliance on Nvidia, but scaling back their chips right now. This is sending MRVL to the downside as far as we can tell here, though. It's actually bounced a little bit for MRVL, but certainly very removed from its high of day from whence it fell. I want to mention Boeing as well, because BA getting a nice little push here to the upside, or at least it was. Politico reporting that, as part of this Vietnam-U.S. trade deal, Vietnam will be buying 50 Boeing aircraft. So keep an eye on BA. Again, this is just a report from Politico, no confirmation as of yet. I want to talk about Uber, too. We just had that awesome talk there about electric vehicles, and we actually have a story related to that for UBER. Bloomberg reporting that Move, a company that is backed by Uber, is going to raise $1.2 billion in debt for a Waymo fleet. So interesting story here. Uber, Boeing, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Marvell. Back to the guys.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. For some reason, my chart's frozen. Sorry, Sharif. I know you've been.
Yeah, I can.
Well, I could. No. I got you covered.
Yeah.
I know you'd give you a little breath there, because I know you've been rocking and rolling and putting on monster trades. But guys, everyone in the chat is continuously telling me that Bitcoin is rolling right now.
Really?
This is what we want to see. Continue to climb, baby. Climb, baby. Climb.
110, baby.
110, baby.
Oh, no.
Spin it. Do we renew the bet? I don't know. It's up to this man.
This guy's willing. He just wants to take more of my money.
No. Hey, it's all right.
You guys listening to this?
Hey,
are you hearing this?
It's okay.
He's just trying to take more of my money,
Yeah, but you never know.
All right, man. I got to set it up in a way that is going to be advantageous.
No, we'll make it 50-50. We'll make it fair, right? But if we agree on something, so we'll figure that one out. But I'm glad you guys, I hope everyone enjoyed that interview. Just give us an inside look on what's going down with Austin and in Austin with Tesla and some of these EVs. So I hope everyone enjoyed that one.
Oh, yeah.
NVDA starting to climb higher. And this is what I'm talking about. Are we going to head towards that slow? Are we going to have this slow grind where we head towards that 160 and then reject? You're starting to see that selling pressure kick in, and that's going to be really important. What was the high around 157.50, and then now we're starting to sell. Be patient, because I do believe that call wall is going to be continuous until it is lifted. So what we want to do is now, okay, yeah, Joe, what do? We have this call wall at 160. We have 134,000 open contracts. What am I waiting for? Well, wait for those contracts to roll over, and if they left in increments and go to higher strike prices, this can give us a path of least resistance and head towards those specific areas and then reject them once again. And that's the exact same thesis that I've established with Apple. We have a 110 call wall, a 210 call wall, but we're now slightly north of that, hopefully if I don't stand corrected. Okay, so there it is. So I want to touch on this here momentarily. So 110, 210, we have this call wall. You've seen we breached it, but we're having trouble sustaining it and holding that specific level. What is that telling me? That now the hedges, as Neil would like to say, are starting to put that downward selling pressure in the underlying asset. Why? Because they want the underlying to close below 110 before the week's expiration cycle. Why? Because they don't want those short contracts, the market makers, to close in the money. Why? Because now you're essentially short. Those get assigned, and you're short Apple from $210, and I don't think that's the case. You don't want to be short Apple right now, and then that's why they have that unlimited inventory continuously pushing down the price. Well, now what happens, say, next week? Let's play a what-if scenario, Sharif. Those contracts, that concentration is now lifted from 210 to 220. Well, what that tells me is that now we have a path of least resistance to 220, and I'm sure you'll see the underlying start to appreciate to those specific levels.
Well said, Joseph. And again, I'm just going to keep calling you out for the options look there because it just keeps repeating every time we talk about this. He shows you exactly what the options look is, where the size is, and where it's been rejecting on the chart. And that's something that definitely I've really personally enjoyed getting to learn by sitting next to this man. So shout out to Joey Options.
Appreciate that, man.
We're going to Adair.
More news. It's been a very news-heavy midday for whatever reason. This is the 3-minute chart in XRP, and we don't always have crypto news here today, guys, but I think this is certainly worth noting, especially given this beautiful reaction in XRP and the strength in Bitcoin today as well. Wall Street Journal reporting that Ripple is seeking a U.S. banking license, one of many crypto companies to do so as of late. Again, Ripple here seeking a U.S. banking license, according to the Wall Street Journal. XRP responding to the upside. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adira. All right, so look, it's been a tougher trading day today. I've tried to take a lot more size with SONN. Initially worked out, then it didn't, and so we got into some trouble. But one thing that I was actually kind of happy about was this Big Bear AI trade. We're doing well on this one. We've got some shares on this one as well. And I'm looking for another move possibly here into the high of the day at around 785. We're currently showing mid to low 60s with some topping tail candles into 70. That's bad news. What the good side about that is we're putting in higher lows. So look at that area at around 1115. This area here is a area trough, and then we have this area here at around 750. That's another area trough. That was a 20. That is the 20 exponential moving average, or that's why I bought it off there. So we've been taking nice prints to the high side over here. Negative on the day, but hopefully trying to get back out of that with a better trade here on Big Bear AI. I took a small loss on MLGO, super negligible, nothing like SONN. This one kind of rounded top. I don't know how you feel about this Bovin, but this one seems like it is encountering a lot of selling at around 75 pennies. The technicals here show me possible support at around 68, 69 pennies. That's where the 10 exponential and the 10 EMA are both hanging out. So if we get support off there, fantastic. If we don't, well, then this one probably is just going to continue to sell off and maybe go back down into around 57 or 60 pennies wherever it started on the day. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. I don't want punching back into MLGO, but it's going to have to set up in the right way. But currently, it is not. MOGO as well. So MOGO, not MLGO, is also making moves and has been essentially since the morning. So we'll cover that one super quick. I've said almost nothing on this one because it had its best trade, sadly, in the pre-market. Double top there at $4 at around 9 a.m. before we rang the bell. The official high, 383, which is below the pre-market high. So this already breaches my rule by not trading currently above the pre-market high. It just recovered from below the volume weighted average price. That's rule number 2. For me, it's above that $3 area. VWAP here is in the 2 low 90s. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is got to get above $4. Otherwise, I can't trade it. So we're going to keep an eye on MOGO if it wants to pop back up to the upside. Absolutely. I'll absolutely have it. But we're gonna need proof, Joseph, that it's gonna hold up around there. I'm probably gonna punch back in to MLGO just because it's really close to the volume weighted average price. And then if I get in here, well, then I can basically get out if my trade is wrong below 69 pennies. So that's exactly what I just did there. We're gonna stop out at 68 and come what may. What do you got, Joey?
Yeah, I'm looking to hop in short again on this market as we do seem slightly overextended. So there it is. If I were to hop in right now, I have to give this about 20 cents of risk. That's going to be just slightly above the high of the day. This is going to be my final swing on it there, guys. I mentioned 3 strikes at the plate. You miss out on all 3 of them, then that's it. You got to move on to that next trade and just accept the fact that your thesis might not come into play. It's so difficult trading this market, especially when the top names are that strong. But at some point, I do believe we're going to get that reversion back towards the volume weighted average price, and that's the game plan here. Yeah, we could have got in a little bit earlier, but we were waiting for that selling to come in. But now we have about 30 cents risk. We'll give it to 50 52s maybe. Yeah, exactly. So just a little bit above where the high of the day is. And then if it decides to make a new one, then that's it for that trade. That thesis is invalid, Joe. It's not going to work. You took your 3 swings. You stuck to the game plan. You had your stops in place. And then sure enough, it's either going to do one thing. You either get the move back to VWAP or you get stopped out. It's that simple. Don't complicate the system. And that is it there, guys. So this is what we got going on. Bitcoin looks like it wants to crack 6240. The long term is loving this right now there, Sharif. I'm loving it. This thing, yeah, we're having a lot of fun with this Bitcoin stuff here. And then as soon as we open up there, but hey, listen.
What?
We know we have the likes of Hood. And I bought some Apple the other day, yesterday to be exact, at that 208. Okay. But I also closed some contracts, right? I had some shares and I had some IBIT contracts for a loss. Okay. Did I get out prematurely? No. Maybe, but I think I did, right? Because if I were to be still holding on to them, they were further dated expiration cycle. They were into January. But I'm like, no, if this thing wants to break down, I can get myself a better price. But there's also a definitive bull flag type price action where you can wait till that the underlying is actually breaking out, where it'll give you an opportunity to get back in. So I have no issues with getting out and then obviously getting right back in, because that's the name of trading.
Absolutely, bro. I'm not a psychic. If it breaks a technical level, I don't know if it's going to bounce up. We got to mitigate risk.
You gotta stick to the plan, and then that's when bag holding can get you into real amounts of trouble. It's like, oh, okay. 5 times out of 10, it's like, okay, it comes back to my price and it works out. But that one time where it doesn't and it continues to squeeze, there you go. There's where you lose a month. There's where you lose multiple months of profits. And you don't want to do that. That's why sticking to the plan is key. You can always look back and be like, oh, well, it did it after. Yeah, but except for that one time where it didn't do it and you had all your capital fixated in and congested in one specific underlying asset, it squeezes, you're in big trouble. And next thing you know, you take a 20-30% hit in your actual account. And you don't want to do that. You want to keep those losses small, 1 to 2%, and even if you're pushing it, 3% of your total account is the max you would want to lose on any given single trade there, Sharif.
Well said, Joseph. Well said, man. All right, guys, still involved in BBAI, right back up to the upside. This is respecting trend. Okay, that's what I see here. We're back at 70 pennies. The next level I'm waiting 71. Then I'm waiting at 75 and 77. So let's see if we can shake 70. 70 is an area top. We rejected there initially at 11:30. We had another topping till candle at 12:35 that did reject 70. And look at the lottage that's posting here at that 70 penny level. That's thousands and thousands of lots there. Now, mind you, it is a $7 name, and it's done 225 million shares on the day. So we could clear it. There is a very good chance that we do clear it, but I want to point that out. Big size posted at 70 pennies. On BBAI. I'm getting out of MLGO again. I just don't like the way that this is trading. Here's what I'm seeing on the 5-minute chart that has me kind of pessimistic about the long opportunity. So this is the 5-second chart. I said 5-minute, I meant 5-second. So you have an area top right there, another area top, area top, area top. Essentially, you have lower highs throughout, okay? So to me, when you have lower highs throughout, even though we're above the volume weighted average price, it does feel to me like sellers are in control. So I need to see that trend break decisively before getting back in. If that means missing out on a little bit of the trade, so be it. So I'm out of MLGO again. We're going to focus more on Big Bear AI now. I want to talk about ALT. ALT looks like another possibly good one over here that we could work into. It found support at the volume weighted average price. Yeah, right around 475. That's not VWAP, sorry. So that seems to be that $0.75. We had buying there on that price spike down at 1110. That was bought up aggressively, not as aggressive at 1235, but yeah, I like that, but you're also still putting in lower highs. Kind of hard to tell how this cookie crumbles here on ALT. Also, the other side of that coin is that it's lightly traded. So, yeah, I'll keep an eye on this one. ALT is another one that I'm monitoring. MTEC as well, very similar to PRME. This one has got couple candle green over here off that, what is that, 12.05, now back up to 12.25 with the high of the day, just a skosh below that 12.5, 12.46 or so. It does breach the 20, and it looks like it's trying to regain the 10 EMA on the 5. Quickly, how's Big Bear doing? Still rejecting 70 pennies. So it's that 70 seller here on Big Bear AI that we really need to shake. We'll see if we can shake them, because I think that if we can, we're putting in higher lows with that flat top at 70. That just, to me, means a good flat top breakout. Now, the idea here will be to make sure we have a lot of shares so we can profit on this one on that flat top breakout. So let's see what we got on right now. We don't have a ton of shares, okay? We got good shares, bigger than typically what I take, but I want to make sure that I'm ready to go. So here's the deal. 755 or so I'm going to put an order at. That's where the 20 exponential moving average on the 5 is, and it's found support there every single time. I'm going to wait there at 755, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to front run it by waiting at 56s. Assassino, is that for me? Oh, no problem. All right. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Let me know when we're ready for your friend Joey. There.
1 second.
Everything, yeah, you're good, bro. I got more to talk about over here.
Okay, yeah, we're good to go.
Okay, all right.
We're rocking and rolling.
Go ahead.
Big news out of Vietnam. VinFast,
Okay.
Nasdaq VFS, has just opened its second EV factory in Hai Tinh. I have no idea how to say it. Built in under 7 months, the 360,000 square meter plant will produce up to 200,000 vehicles a year. It's a focus on compact EVs like the VF3 Mini SUV and the Minio Green, designed for transport services with automation and ABB. Simons and others, this marks a major step as VinFast pushes to double deliveries by 2025. Stay tuned. How do you pronounce that city name?
What is this city?
It's Hai Tinh, maybe.
Can you bring it over?
Yeah, I'll bring it over here.
Let's have a look. Where is it?
Yeah.
Hatten. I don't know.
Yeah,
you ask your friend Copilot.
Copilot, bro.
See what Copilot has to say.
It can't give me audio though.
It'll sound it out.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Thank you, Master E, for the $2 super chat. Look at Holo. Holo. It breaks B. I don't know what that B is, brother. Let me know what you mean by that. Well, I'll look at Holo though. Holo is obviously a former convict. I'm kidding, of course. It's a former runner that we know very, very well. Breaking out right now above $5. It's not up massively on the day or anything like that. Micro Cloud up 4.17%, trading at around $5. It's light on volume though, brother, about 645,000 shares, so still south of that milli. And so it definitely needs a little bit more shareage there so that we could have a good look at this one with more than just about 2/3 of a million shares. I want to focus though right now on MOGO. So this one is still below the pre-market high, but it's well above VWAP, and it's putting in a really good looking rounded bottom here. The problem with these ones is they lure you in and then they end up selling off. So I am concerned about this one with the bag holders having been trading this from 4 to basically right here at 330. So be on the lookout for MOGO. It's the #1 gapper, I think, on the day, up 165%. But it's better trade is behind it, sadly, in the pre-market there. MOGO above 3 on the way to 330. There does seem to be some resistance at that 3.25 to 330, given some of the areas that we did bounce off earlier on right there. MLGO is breaking down, so I'm quite happy with getting out of that. I mean, I'm not happy that I didn't make money on it, but we mitigated some losses there. This one loses the volume weighted average price, and it looks like it is on the way down to the mid-60s for now. The one that I've got involved in, Big Bear AI, still like the look of this one's jib to take out that 70 penny level. Here we go again, making yet another attempt in the high 60s to breach 70 pennies. It hasn't happened since these two candles over here at 1045 and 1050. Full disclosure, I've put a dip trade now to add more shares on BBAI at the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. Now, the problem with putting an order, a resting order that tries to shadow a moving average is the moving average is dynamic. It's constantly changing as the price action develops. So that means your order has to change as well. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. We're going to throw it to Joey Options, and we're going to update our new order there, Joey.
Let's go, guys. with that being said, we're going to go over the top performing sectors on the day, and I can bet my bottom dollar I know who's at the top of the leaderboard today, Sharif.
Who's it?
It's going to be the tech sector. XLK it is. All right, guys, they're up about 0.9% on the day, guys. Material coming in second place. Yesterday it was first place or earlier in the week, so that put in a big time move. XLB, if you're looking for that sector ETF, materials up at 0.8 on the session. And then we got the energy sector, a little bit over 0.75% here, guys. Energy looking pretty good, and I mean it was at the bottom of the list a couple of days ago when we know what was going on with Iran, et cetera, et cetera. Now the bottom three, real estate, were down about a third, utilities were down about 3/4, and healthcare were closer down to about 0.8. So there it is, XLV, XLU, and XLRE. If you're curious on what those sectors are looking like, if you want to go check them out. So that is your top performing sectors of the day. Now, let's see who's been the top performing major moving average here on the week, Sharif. Who do you think is leading the way without looking?
The moving average.
Yeah.
Or the major average?
Yeah. The major average. Did I say?
I'm gonna say the Dow.
You've seen it.
I swear to God, I would never lie about that.
Yeah, all right.
Because yesterday the Dow outperformed.
Yeah.
Right? Because you know I go through it every time over there, so I see what they're doing.
There you go, bang. The Dow is up 3.2% on the week. And then we have the IWM, grenades going off over here. IWM up 2.5%, all right? And then we have the SPY. So all of these major averages are trading higher and are positive there, guys. So, bang. Love to see this. This is bull market as some really, really strong stuff. Just be careful. We've gone through a lot as a collective unit, right? We've been through the liberation days. I wasn't here during COVID, but we got to go through the Black Monday with the yen carry trade, etc. We've seen some volatility step into this market. Now, with kind of the move that we've been on for the past couple of months since the Liberation Day lows around April, early April. Now, if we have any form of sentiment shift, we know what to do, all right? We know that we can take action. We have a plan of action, is that we've been extended for a long period of time, a decent duration, without having any certain 2.5 to 5% pullback. So what are we going to do? Well, as soon as that shifts, we get some deals that Donald was talking about don't come into play or into fruition. The market is already baking in some good things. They baked in a lot. So if things start to change and the script gets flipped, then watch out. We could potentially see some more downside, because I think at some point we have to say, hey, are we overbought? And if you ask me, in some underlying assets, we are. In the likes of Robinhood, up 100%. We have Palantir, Sean's favorite, up close to 100%, or even north of that still. And then we have Nvidia up 40% off of those lows. And then we have the broader market also up 40% as well too. When are we going to get this pullback? I don't know, but just be prepared and be ready to take action. Don't get greedy, as my guy Jim Cramer likes to say, bulls get fed. I'm probably saying this wrong, but hogs get slaughtered. Bulls and bears can eat, but hogs get slaughtered. Don't be greedy. Take profits. And I think, have I been squeezed out 3 times? No, I haven't. Not yet, B-balling. Not quite. We're getting there as it's continuously climbing higher. But we're sitting on this. We're not out of it just yet. I have a couple more cents of risk, and then that's it. I'm just going to completely avoid it. As frustrating as it may be, so what? You take those trades. Are we overextended? In my opinion, yes. But the thing is, though, a lot of these names are just moving sideways, but I do believe VWAP will be coming in to play on the TQs. I could be wrong. I'm not right all the time. That's just the name of the game that we live in. You've seen that we were trading Google to the short side relatively well. So why wouldn't I go back and try to look for that continuation to the downside? I don't know. You just ask me. But that is what we have going on. And just be prepared for that sentiment shift, right? Because at some point, I do believe you don't want things to go too parabolic without seeing any form of healthy pullback. And I think that's really important to see a nice, consistent, steady climb in this market. But I think these deals are really, really, really important. But yeah, you guys aren't wrong. The Nasdaq trade to the short side has not been working. That's why you have a 3-strike limit. And then I look over at my P&L. Yeah, I'm slightly red, but it would literally take me 1 trade to get back green. So I am not worried about that whatsoever, Sharif.
I ain't never scared.
I ain't never scared,
I ain't
really.
never scared.
I ain't never.
All right, guys, we're going to do the news in a hot minute here. I'm just keeping an eye on MOGO. For a possible dip trade into the 50 exponential on the 5, a super random area, but this is where I perceive it to be getting some support over here, and we don't exactly have any big boy movers at the moment. So this bad boy here, look at that hold up at the 50. Don't tell me that's random there. Now, recently, it's been kind of finding a little bit of support there at the 10. It's down at the 20 right now, but I'm thinking maybe you punch in here at 270s with maybe a stop below 260s. That if it makes its way down there. And obviously, the reason I'm talking about this is because if I do the news, I'm going to have to put resting orders because I'm not going to be able to actually punch in live because I'll be reading. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Now, this will breach 2 of my rules. This is why I'm kind of debating whether or not to do it. It's trading below VWAP and it's below the pre-market high. So that would be a breach of both rules. And I only have 2. So I think I'm just going to, hold on to my rules and let that one steer clear. The reason I'm looking for these trades is we're negative on the day and we don't have any explosive ones. We got a good trade here on Big Bear AI, but I wasn't able to add on the dip. I've been trying to move up my order every time, neither of which is triggering. So we need more shares on Big Bear AI if we want to go green on the day. And I haven't been able to get in any more. In fact, let me cancel that one right now, and I'm going to have to move it up again, because it keeps moving with the 20 EMA. So let's go ahead and set that up, and we'll set it just a skosh. We'll put it at 60s here to see if we can kind of get that there. There we go. We'll put at 760. That's what we're looking to buy right there. So we'll set that up just like that. GRYP, says Sager. Let me have a look at that. GRYP before we start the news. Is this any good at the moment? Let's look at the 5 on that. Oh yeah, that's another good one, but it's below the pre-market high, Sager. It's below the pre-market high and the aftermarket high. It's got to clear $1.90 for me to get involved on that one. But thank you for calling it out. We'll keep tabs on that. Anything you want to say, Joseph, before we weasel into the news?
Yeah. I mean, we're still short here, guys. 10 cents OTM, but that's small potatoes, right? Like, we're not too worried about that. Microsoft is selling right now, and this is what I'm talking about, right? You just can't. These moves are not sustainable. Am I going to be stubborn about it? Maybe a little bit, but not my trade I'm referring to. I'm behind my thesis. This is not sustainable, in my opinion. I would love to have a debate. If anyone in the chat disagree with me, that's fine. But this price action, where have you seen that throughout a chart with, you can go back in the history of this name, and where have you not seen eventually pull back roughly? So this is a nice move right here. Before we send it to you, Sharif, sorry, 1 second.
No problem.
So what is that? A 64% move from the lows to that current high, but then we experience a 15% retracement before we pull back. We can't just continuously go up like this. At some point, you will get that 5 to 10% pullback, and just be prepared to take advantage of it there, brother.
All right, man. All right. Small cap runner. All right. Keeping an eye on that. Let's just look at. Yeah, I see Webull is doing well today, guys. 9 1/3% right now. It's got a good move up. Yeah, so Webull is looking good. It's quite frankly, let's just see what it's doing here. I know I'm not showing it on the screen. It's very respectful of the 10 EMA, so any pullback into the 10 EMA, Webull could be a buy there, guys. Let's do the news, though. Let's scroll on up. There we go. And then we'll move that. So this was obviously before we got the delivery the deliveries on Tesla. We now obviously have the numbers, so we're not going to talk about those. The numbers themselves, you guys can Google those, but shares had previously rallied, obviously, after Tesla launched the robotaxi. Tesla up nicely today, 5%. Look, they missed, guys. They were a little bit lower than expectations. It really depends on which institution you were kind of listening to, because there were different expectations for deliveries. I saw 387. There were some reports of 390 something. Kalshi was actually pricing in 360 something thousand, so they certainly beat the betting markets there. But that really isn't the point. The point is it's year-over-year weakness, right? Now, That's the bad side. That's the delivery side, which we already kind of had an idea about. The good side is obviously that they're launching the robo-taxi. The robo-taxi could be a fantastic tailwind going into the future. We just had Joseph's friend Bobby come and speak about that. Just a moment here, guys. I'm just keeping an eye here on MOGOs. It's right back into that 50 exponential. Does it get bought here? And then maybe a breach of 60, we get out, because this is the 50 period moving average off which it's had a lot of support. So I'm just keeping an eye on that for a second. So we're going to take a pause on the news, and I'm just going to see what this one wants to do. Yeah, I'm breaching my rules. And there's also the issue, obviously, of Elon Musk attacking the big, beautiful bill, the one big, beautiful bill, saying it's going to run $3 trillion deficit over 10 years. And that obviously didn't please Donald Trump. So there is that back and forth now between the two parties. Not a good look, obviously, if you're Elon Musk. You don't want that regulatory headwind. Donald Trump making different pronouncements that, you know, he wants to sick Doge. Elon Musk's creation, so to speak, on him. So we'll have to keep an eye out on all that. But it doesn't matter today. Tesla getting a bit of a buy order here, Joseph, about 4.5 in the green.
Yeah, absolutely, Sharif. We'll talk about this from a technical standpoint here. Tesla. I mean, it comes with the territory, right? You're going to get the volatility and the ebbs and flows of this name because essentially, I think a lot of it has to do, you want to own the CEO, and that's what Tesla is. You know, it can be slightly volatile, but from a daily standpoint, I was talking to you guys the other day. You break through the support level, look for any form of indecision south of that, and then sure enough, you get that doji print, and then you have another nice big move to the top side. Now, are we going to continue this climb? Truly, I don't know. This name is really, really hard to manage, but there it is. You're consistently forming these higher lows, and that's a positive sign for stock appreciation. There is overhead resistance in front of us, Sharif, but I think some momentum can definitely punch us through. And from a option standpoint, there isn't that much open interest through those higher strike prices, so there is a path of least resistance on Tesla. It's just a matter of time until when it gets there.
All right, Joseph, let's go on to Mara. Is it a good day for Mara today? You bet your bottom dollar 11% and going over here on MARA, and they have their own catalyst. It's not just Bitcoin back up to near 110,000. They are actually announcing that a goal of reaching 75 exahashes of computing power by the end of this year. That would be a 40% bump from where they were last year. At this time, the CEO, Fred Thiel, said the plan supports the company's vision, the overall vision of scaling efficiently while maintaining, you know, those lower power costs. I should have asked your friend about that, by the way, about the power.
You should ask him. Yeah.
It slipped my mind, man.
It's all right.
The move reinforces, though, Mara's position as the largest public Bitcoin miner globally. Not a bad look to have. The total production in June, though, did drop 25% year over year to about 713 Bitcoin. There was a reason for that, though. It was weather-related curtailment and storm damage, sadly, to older equipment at its Garden City facility. So they weren't able to kind of, you know, meet the full need here as a result of the weather. Despite the production dip, though, the CEO highlighted Mara's milestone of reaching about 50,000 BTC in corporate reserves. They've got about 49,940 BTC on hand. That's about 5.37 billion in Bitcoin that they're holding on their balance sheet there. That is the second largest corporate BTC holder globally, obviously after our very good friends at Strategy, MicroStrategy. Shout out to Saylor and Company. Good look there. Thank you very much.
PLN.
Hey, for the super chat. Adam.
We're gonna figure it out there.
Yeah, PLN. What is that?
We're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna do it live. Let's find out right here because we've
got it up there.
Yeah. PLN currency. So that is Polish zloty.
Zloty.
Thank you very much, my friend. Could you please take a look at Nebius Group, the company that builds AI-optimized data centers? I bought it at $20, Joseph, 3 months ago, and I'm wondering whether it's still bullish from a technical standpoint. Ticker is NBIS.
NBIS. All right. Yeah. And as I sent you that message truly from the bottom of my heart, obviously I mean that, and thank you very much. You're not wrong. you are right. Just understand what we got going on. And then we want to take a look at, sorry, could you take a look at NBIS? Absolutely. No NBIS around here, brother. NBIS, All right, so hey, this thing is looking pretty good right now from a technical standpoint. That's all we can essentially give you. But Liberation Day, I think that's going to be a key focal point right here, guys. Let's pull it up if I can get a percentage metric, and my platform doesn't want to embarrass me in front of everybody. There we go, embarrassing. 188%. The same is looking relatively well. We had a low of around 1749, and then now it's gone on a big-time move. You are entering in an additional consolidation phase, so watch out for that. But if the name is strong and continues to be so, look for this. And this is what I was referring to earlier on Tesla. You break through some key support levels and strong names, you look for indecision south of those key support levels, and that will give you a good indication on some potential bounce plays there on NBIS. And thank you, Adam Radjifer. That is around $40, a little bit under 40 Canadian dollars for that one. 37.
Big boy money.
37.
Appreciate that, man.
So
thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, let's go on to some Apple over here, getting the nod today. Kind of a backhanded nod, though, the upgrade from Jefferies, from underperform to hold and boosting that price target to a very weirdly specific $182.32. I don't know why I dare.
Get it, Jefferies.
Get it, Jefferies. The firm expects Apple's Q3 2025 revenue and EPS to beat the estimates, the street's estimates, by about 5 to 9%. They say driven by strength in China, as well as tariff-related pull forward. Tariff-related demand that was pulled forward. iPhone sales in China did do quite well during their 618 shopping festival. 618 was like this thing started by JD, and then it became JD or PDD, one of the two companies, and then it became national. It's the second biggest day, like Black Friday for us here, the second biggest day in China after Singles Day, so a lot of retail buys take place during that time. And Apple saw about a 19% year-over-year bump during that 618 festival. It was, though, helped by discounts and subsidies, so margins possibly a bit of a question there. Jefferies increased its June quarter iPhone unit estimate by about 9%. It's a little bit shy than 50 million units, which implies about a 9% year-over-year growth. Analysts see this as signal that Apple is aggressively defending the Chinese market or its share of the Chinese market, and that consumers remain responsive to pricing incentives. But again, when you have those pricing incentives, usually you take a hit on margins, which obviously affects profitability. Jefferies does warn that iPhone unit growth could stall the second half of this year, basically for muted demand right now, or muted production for the iPhone 17. They say the new 17 Slim, which is essentially the only new version of the iPhone that's coming out, and by that I mean like the actual design is different, may fail to drive upgrades because there is some features missing. It's got a single camera. In China, might have to be a bit thicker than it is in North America because it's got to have a dual SIM, and there's also some issues with it as well. So all that is speculative. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens in real life, but that is what's being talked about right now.
Yep.
The tariff assumptions, though, as well, Joseph, they say it might be too optimistic. A 10 to 30% tariff on imports from India, Vietnam, or China could actually hurt EPS by up to 7%. And there's also the ongoing regulatory risk that Apple is going through, much like with the other hyperscalers, that it is having to deal with right now with the regulator, whether it's the App Store, whether it's its relationship with Google, whether it's Europe, who's broke, who's trying to take money from Apple through the Digital Markets Act. You guys know I'm just joking about that, or am I? Right, so that is a bit of a headwind, Joseph, that we have to factor in when we get bullish on Apple.
Absolutely, yep. And I couldn't agree more with you, Sharif. But one thing I want to point on: has the market baked this bad news potentially in?
It's a very good question.
And then, right, so if the answer is yes, then what we can see displayed is the positive news that we've seen coming out of Apple. If that Siri upgrade, if they can't complete it in-house, then they're gonna source it out to OpenAI and Anthropic. And that's when you see that start to being priced into the market as well. So the question is, has all of that bad news been priced into the current evaluation of the stock? And if you get any more positive tailwinds, could the market disregard what's going on with, regardless of the deal coming out of China, whether it be 10 or 30%? Is that irrelevant if they strike some big-time deals and they don't complete the Siri upgrade in-house there, Sheree?
Yep, we're going to have to find out. Thank you, One Stop Shop, or One Stop something or another there. Why doesn't it show? Why do I have to click fan funding? One Stop something. Come on, bro. One Stop Sports. Thank you for the Canadian, 279 Canadian. Can you look at Nvidia? Seems overextended from VWAP. Let's have a look at Nvidia quickly and see what it's up to over here. It's going to be the 5 on Nvidia. Okay. I personally see, so resistance here you can see at around 157.5. There has been a lot of selling at the $0.50. The prints do go up into the $0.50. A lot of the closing prints though are south of the third of a dollar, right around the 157 mid-30s. Now, what I see is either support at the 10 or the 20. The deeper retracement went into the 20 exponential. The more shallow normal retracements go into the 10. So here's the deal. I see support. Price action support at about 155.25 to about 155. That has to do with that bull flag that we formed at the open there. That's the top end of the range. I also see possible support at around 156 because that's where we troughed right there. And then there's also the volume weighted average price, which is 155.82. So if you give up the 20, I'd be looking for support right around 156 to see if this area trough wants to hold. Otherwise, I mean, obviously keep your eye on the futures because, well, Nvidia does move with the futures, no doubt about that. Any look you have there, Joseph, on Nvidia?
I mean, so Pug Life and I have been talking options in the chat, so that's why you guys see me typing away. We're both talking about specific open interest, and this is just from a technical standpoint. I want to get into the fundamentals because it's just going to lead me into the Gulf states and how amazing those deals are, Sharif. There you go. I just got into it. I love that stuff. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I mentioned this a while ago, and I find that the market was slightly lagging this big-time move. So what Pug Life and I are talking about here are call walls. And we have a bunch of call walls through a bunch of these increments on the strike price. He's like, Joe, the 157.5 and the 160s are big time trouble for this name right now. And we even have size building at 155. So I said to Pug Life, we've seen the example, I didn't get stopped out there. Thank you very much. But we've seen this before multiple weeks ago and during the earnings. But once these open contracts are lifted into higher strike prices, and we got to keep nailing this style of trading until it sticks on our head and you start utilizing it. So it may seem like I'm repeating myself, but it's key because you want to find a system that's repeatable. And I think that's exactly what we found here by using open interest. So now back to what I was getting at is that once that is lifted from 160 and say goes to 162.5 or 165, I believe that is going to be a good green light, a solid green light in order for us to continue to climb higher. But right now, you can see we have been struggling to get through 160 because of the supply zone that we're seeing there and just the vast amounts of open contracts. So wait until next week to see where those contract concentration has either been lifted or it remains the same there, Sheree.
Thank you very much, Vanilla Man, for the $10 super chat. Smack that ass. Okay. Thank you. Obi thanks you. He dropped $10 on that, Obi. I got to read it out, by the way. Yeah. You saw that? All right, let's talk a little Amazon here, baby. Amazon hits 1 million robots and adds an AI fleet corridor. So Amazon announced it has deployed officially 1 million robots, Joseph, across 300 global facilities, solidifying its position as the largest manufacturer and operator of mobile robotics. Here's the deal, though. The company also unveiled their Deep Fleet, which is a generative AI model that will optimize robot movement. It's going to cut travel time down by 10%, improving delivery speed and efficiency. And obviously, if it's able to improve times, well, then that means more productivity and margins do improve as a result of that. Since 2012, Amazon has steadily, I should say, scaled the robot use from basic shelf-moving bots to autonomous units capable of lifting 1,250 pounds and navigating warehouse floors. The bots now handle tasks such as lifting, transporting, navigating complex factory layouts, as well as continued upgrades that are expected. I mean, it's just a matter of time till they take all our jobs. That's what it feels like. Despite the collaboration messaging, CEO Andy Jassy renewed a warning that generative AI will shrink parts of the global workforce, including his, even as hiring AI and robotics continues. Amazon has already cut about 27,000 jobs since 2022. I'm going to keep my eye here on Big Bear AI because it's losing the 20 exponential, and has made additional targeted layoffs, sadly, in recent months. We never want to celebrate when people are losing their jobs. That goes without saying, but it is something that we need to be pragmatic about, that there likely will be, if there isn't mass layoffs, like some people were predicting, what you might see is just no new hiring for positions, especially those entry-level positions, you know, like that do the kind of the legwork for certain tasks. That could all either be done by robotics or AI. Obviously, very nascent, and there is a lot of unanswered questions. Joseph, anything on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think even though we are seeing job loss experience right now, these robots are going to need maintenance, and I don't know if robots can fix robots just yet. So I think there's going to be some job creation within that as well too, especially as it starts to grow and expand. You're going to need the mechanics behind that. You're going to have everything, all those little widgets and gadgets that put these components, that put these robots together. I don't know if robots can completely do that yet, but you're going to need human interaction at some point.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Intel mulls a major shift in chip strategy under the new CEO. Lip Bhutan, he's a new CEO who took over in March, is rapidly restructuring the foundry business to cut costs and revive growth after a historic year of losses. We'll get to those losses in a second. He is reviewing a bold pivot. This is what he wants to do. He wants to drop the marketing and the expenditures on their 18A and 18AP process to external clients, despite having already invested billions in the technology. He wants to kind of look at, and I'll get to the losses in a second here. He wants to look at 14A. So Tan is pushing Intel to refocus on technology called 14A, which is a next-gen process that could offer an edge over their huge rival, Taiwan Semi, whose N2 technology essentially stands for 2 nanometers, is currently ahead of Intel. And the analysts say that 18A's performance, the one that they want to move away from, is equivalent to N3 in Taiwan Semi speak, which is, again, just a euphemism for 3 nanometer technology, which is old. It's 2022 technology and has been mass produced since then. It is now the 2 nanometer that Taiwan Semi is looking to scale, and that's why they're opening up a bunch of plants in the United States. But my understanding is that 2 nanometer will be made strictly in Taiwan. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. To give you an idea of what kind of losses we're talking about here for Intel, the first annual loss ever suffered by the company since 1986, and it wasn't light, guys. $18.8 billion loss. Obviously, not all that was performance related. It was a lot of capital expenditures with opening these new foundries in the United States. Obviously, they got some money from the CHIPS Act, but that didn't obviously cover the entire thing. Intel's board, though, for their part, hasn't signed off on the strategy shift from 18A to 14A. They're expected to review the strategy shift, and then they will likely postpone final judgment until the fall due to the complexity and obviously the financial implications that come with that. Meanwhile, Intel apparently will continue their 18A technology production for internal chips and for some existing contracts that they already have with Microsoft, Joseph, and Amazon.
Beautiful stuff there. All right, guys, I want to talk about how just this market is continuously climbing higher. So I'm just going to pull up all of these big names here for you. Look at this. You have Microsoft continuing to move lower. Apple was moving lower momentarily. And then you have Meta heading into some key support levels. And then you have Apple right there as well, too. But look at Google just continuously go. And then look how that's treating the market. The market is not participating to the downside just yet. Is it going to? But the one thing that you have to keep an eye out on, if these names decide to bounce as a collective unit, watch out, because the market will put in a new high of the day, because Google is really strong and the market seems to be heavily correlated with Google and Nvidia this morning, Sharif.
All right, guys. Big Bear AI is losing the half dollar here. No. I mean, it's good. I can kind of make my decision. Big Bear AI does look like it is on the way down to 740 or so. It might lose the half dollar here. We're going to keep an eye on this one. Shout out to Big Bear AI. It had a big seller here at $7.70 that we just couldn't shake. And we weren't able to shake it for a long time. There's the bared one on the screen there. I got to get that one from Continue. 770 right now is the top end of the area on Big Bear AI. Let's get involved here. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. And then I'm just going to set up my, my stop on this bad boy over here. We're going to look for a break of that 740, but I don't mind DCAing into the volume weighted average price. So that's exactly what I'm going to do there. We're going to wait down here to see if we can get another beak wetter around there. And then if it ends up below that, well, then it's all over. Let's talk a little bit about Google getting slapped with a $314 million lawsuit verdict on Android data lawsuit. Now, that's obviously not a lot of money for goggles, but a San Jose jury ordered Google to pay about $315 million, a little bit less, to Android users in only California over unauthorized data collection while the devices were idle. Who always used to think that, you know, the phone is listening to you? Well, apparently, according to this lawsuit, it does. The case impacted about 14 million users and centers on allegations that Google siphoned cell data for company use, including targeted advertising. Are you surprised by that? I'm not. So the plaintiffs claimed, sorry about that, the plaintiffs claimed that the data transfer occurred without consent, even when the phones were idle, imposing what they called mandatory and unavoidable burdens on users. Google, for their part, pushed back and said that they disagree with the ruling entirely and plan to appeal, claiming the decision misunderstands Android's performance and the privacy systems. They also maintained that users consented to data use under the terms of service and that no actual harm occurred from the transfers. So in one case, they're saying, look, we disagree and you don't understand, we're not siphoning data. But in case you do find that we did siphon data, nobody got harmed. Well, which is it, bro? Right? So I like that little legal speak there. A separate but similar federal case for 49 other states is already scheduled for trial of April of next year, increasing, obviously, the long-term litigation potential for something like this. So, yeah, that is quite interesting there. It's something that, I don't know, we always joke about your phone's listening, your phone's listening. I guess this case...
No, it actually does, because it's not a coincidence that on multiple occasions when you're talking about something, then you pull up your search engine and it's advertising what you were just talking about.
There you go. There you go, right? I mean, that's exactly what we're...
It's happened to everybody, I'm pretty sure. It's happened to me on multiple times. I'm sure you as well, too.
Esler, absolutely.
But let's go here. TQs. Let's get that reversion here. OB. Let's hit the O boy.
OB.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're looking for that move back towards VWAP, but it's a pretty strong day, guys. We might not get it. It is a counter trend trade. That's when you go with that question tree, OB. Are we counter trend? Yes. Are we bouncing off multiple support levels? Yes. But we're going to hold on to see if we can get that VWAP play to come in.
Absolutely, Joseph. Big Bear AI still headed down here to the volume weighted average price. I'm waiting here at 43s, I believe. I don't know why I'm not getting filled, so I'm keeping my eye out on that Big Bear. We're waiting actually at 43s. Let's just take it here. There we go. We actually get 42s on that one. Okay, so let's see what Big Bear AI does. Let's go ahead and throw in that stop now. I'm going to give it to 34s, and then we'll give it down to here. And we've got size on here for Big Bear, man. So if we ended up getting punched out, we're going to be on a very negative day today. So we'll see what happens. We got 51s on currently, so let's go ahead and set up at 55. So what I'm looking for here is a volume-weighted average price hold on Big Bear AI. Let's go ahead and look, though, at CDR joining the bidding war for BP. So we heard about Shell last week denying reports that they were interested at all in British Petroleum. You know, one of the reasons that we had kind of said that they were denying it because there's this rule in England that if you deny interest in a company, you're prohibited from buying them for a period of 6 months. So apparently CDNR has officially entered the bidding for BP's lubricant division, Castrol. We all know about that, which is valued at approximately $8 billion, reports Sky News. CDR now competes with Apollo Group, Lone Star Funds, and India's Reliance Industries, which had previously shown interest in buying British Petroleum. The bid is notable due to CD&R's ties with BP chairman Helge Lund, who also serves as the operating advisor for CD&R. Lund, though, he's going to step down as BP chair within 12 months, so we'll have to see how that all goes. The cash draw sale does align with BP's broader plan to streamline its portfolio and raise some money under pressure from, yes, activist investor Elliott Management Investment. How many times have we heard about them? I know that's not one we typically talk about here, Joseph, but anything here on the possible BP buyout?
Yeah, I mean, it's a buyout there. You can make a trade off of that.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, I don't know too much about that, what's going on. I'll have to read a little bit more, but yeah, we're just still short this market.
Okay.
And I'm telling Gorva, I'm like, hey, man,
Get it,
hey, we got to be patient, especially with these big names that are working out really, really well.
Well said.
Tough to counter trend right now.
All right, guys, Palantir, another day, another frickin' contract, this time with a company called, where are they at here? Blue Forge Alliances. They announced a collaboration with them to support the U.S. Navy's Warp Speed for Warships initiative. The program is part of the Navy's Maritime Industry Base program and does aim to align or aims to digitally transform U.S. shipbuilding operations. The objective of this collaboration is basically going to be to accelerate warship production. Now, we know the world is rearming. Germany, Japan, obviously the United States. We already see other countries rearming as well, Canada included. And this is going to improve fleet readiness using Palantir's advanced digital infrastructure. So yet another use for that AIP program we seem to see coming in all the time. Shout out to Big Spal Burdette, who I see has now weaseled into the chat. We're going to go to Adair shortly, but anything here on the Palantir headline?
Let's go, yeah, Palantir. We're going to pull a Palantir right now. This thing has been on a monster move. I've been mentioning this earlier. Oops, I'm locked up here, so we can't necessarily put it on there. Uno momento, mi amigo. Yeah, we'll send it to her in 1 second as we pull up Palantir and just do Sharif giving you the fundamental benefits, and we're going to give you some of the technicals because I think Palantir is going to be a continuous buy. We're going to zoom out. I'm doing it rapid, doing it live, and that's what we want to look at. So still up approximately 99% off of Liberation Day lows there, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Cash secured puts on Palantir, I think, is the way to go. You don't want to be you don't want to be buying all the way up here. I'm selling CSPs if you have the capital around 116, 195, and even 120. So yeah, that's the look there on Palantir. Big time move from the trough there to where we're currently trading at. But Adara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, here is mRNA. Keep an eye on Moderna and Pfizer. New York Times reporting that the FDA, or Food and Drug Administration's top vaccine official, apparently rejected broad uses of 2 different COVID vaccines, setting unknown risk of injuries. So keep an eye here at mRNA and PFE. But I mean, mRNA near days highs. PFE here also looking not bad. So neither stock super reacting to the news, but again, keep an eye on these. New York Times reporting that the FDA's top vaccine official is rejecting broad uses of 2 different COVID vaccines, as we send it back to the Bash Brothers.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. All right, let's go on to the next story. Netflix eyes music and live concert expansion with Spotify. So Netflix is apparently in discussions with Spotify to co-develop projects like live concert series and music award shows. Interesting. The collaboration is part of Netflix's broader push into live programming to enhance engagement and obviously subscriber growth. We've seen that with sports. We've seen it in boxing, obviously. And this is just another push looking for the music route. Netflix is also considering new formats like high-profile celebrity interviews and fast turnaround documentary content. These formats aim to kind of tap into that trending culture momentum and boost, is that even a word? Boost viewer retention. Joseph, I like this look here.
I like the live music look.
I like the live music look, but you know what? It actually just caught my attention, something that was very obvious, but I hadn't really noticed.
Yeah.
Spotify doesn't have anything live.
Yeah.
Why don't they have anything live?
That's very interesting.
You know what I mean?
I think they'd have a live concert.
They have nothing. They have nothing live.
Is there a platform where you can go and watch the concert live on TV where you don't actually attend?
Good question. I don't know.
So there you go. Maybe Netflix is going to be one of the first. Because I remember back in the day, my friend's dad, we would go to over his house and it was a live concert from YouTube every day. You'd go there, he's watching the Live Aid or he's watching some form of live concert. the fact that Netflix is thinking about getting into this, I think that's another big time move. And what is that going to do? That's just going to drive more subscribers,
absolutely,
and short-term subscribers to the platform, like we've seen in the fights, in the Jake Paul and the Mike Tyson fight. Exactly. We now have Canelo Alvarez and my guy Terrence Bud Crawford that are going to be fighting live on there. Tina Man always mentions that, one of the most popular sporting events in the United States is the WWE. They brought you that live, and they're also bringing big-time games like Christmas Day games and Thanksgiving games via obviously football with that. So I think there's some big-time moves to still happen in Netflix, and we've also seen their subscriber growth go substantially higher with 100% increases year over year in the past couple quarters.
Yeah, absolutely, and we obviously saw what happened with their first Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing.
I think that's such a good problem to have.
It's a fantastic problem to have, but you don't want to be 0 for 2.
Yeah, you don't want to.
You don't want to be 0 for 2 on that one. It's a great. What we're talking about is like I don't know if you guys remember, but it was streaming, kept buffering. A lot of people couldn't watch, even people who paid. Even people who paid, couldn't watch it. And that obviously is an issue. So you don't want to have that happen twice in a row. Shout out to Netflix, though. They've got clearly a lot of demand, on their side there. So we'll have to see how that all goes.
And I think the shows in the pipeline are a big thing as well, too, Sharif. Like, you want to see those Squid Games come out. You want to see for Too Hot to Handle for all my reality TV fans out there, and et cetera. So you just want to have a nice, steady stream and a solid pipeline of new content continuously coming out. And I think Netflix is year over year, quarter over quarter, nailing that one on the head.
Bang. All right, guys. Just in BBAI, the only position we have, it's still above the volume weighted average price, but let me tell you, it does not look good on the 5-second chart. The lower lows, the lower highs are what is really catching my attention. You don't need to look at the 5-minute chart, 5-second chart either. The 5-minute chart has a 3-candle hold up at VWAP, but you're not really seeing the buying stepping in. At the moment, this thing's done 263 million shares on the day. We're only 5 pennies out of the money, but we have shares on this one. So if it ends up dropping, we're going to get into some trouble. So we're going to keep a tight stop below that VWAP area. Now, I've tried to give it a little bit of room so that, I don't get stop hunted, but this is not a good look. We had a seller at 70. We couldn't shake. And now there doesn't seem to be any buying, whether we're at the $0.5 or closer to VWAP. So let's see if we can break trend and print anything above 750, 751. That's where we topped out here on the 5-second chart. We weren't able to print anything above 750 on the last occasion, and the occasion before that it was 751. So you're getting that ask creep where you're getting that lower high every single time, whether it's by a penny or two. It is still at the area low. So we'll keep tabs on that. And if there are any other small cap gappers that you guys are seeing right now, let me know, because I don't see any good ones showing up on my scanner. Adara.
I just want to draw your guys' attention here to our new infographic on X at TTV Research, and it's very timely. We know that today Tesla did have deliveries and productions. Deliveries missing estimates, but one of the metrics that, as I mentioned here, missed estimates the most severely was their other models category. That includes, from left to right here, the Model S, the Cybertruck, and the Model X. So here's a look at these deliveries over the past 6 quarters, basically starting with when we started seeing these Cybertruck deliveries in Q1 24. We get a nice steady incline up into Q4 2024, at which point we get a sharp drop off. So yeah, significant decrease here in these categories in recent quarters. Take a look at this on X at TTV Research and check out these fun-looking Tesla vehicles on this chart. Back to you.
All right, Joseph, you ready for this?
Yep.
Your friend Big Spile just sent me a message.
What did he say?
And he said the following.
Let me hear it.
Over, under. Seasons of The Bachelor Joe has watched. He's going 4.5. I bet he says Selena makes him watch it.
I've never watched The Bachelor.
Never?
Ever. No. Yeah. I'm more of a Love Island, Too Hot to
Love Island. So Big Spile.
Temptation.
You were close. You were close, but wrong show.
Okay, I actually want to go here because I know Joe has seen this show. Beyond Deck, over under seasons, because I know you and I have talked about Beyond Deck.
Below Deck?
Below Deck, not Beyond Deck, Below Deck.
Ran through.
Any spinoff. I'm going to go 5. 5 seasons over.
Yeah. Ran through every episode essentially.
Oh,
on
way more than
It's honestly, but see here, I'll be working on the laptop doing TA, and it's on as background. It's perfect. It's a perfect background noise, right? Because you're getting like the nice sea. They go to nice areas like Australia, the Seychelles, I believe, which is around Africa, and then they go to the Caribbean as well too. So you get this nice tropical vibe, and then you also get to work on your laptop as well too.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's why I like tropical vibe.
I like it. I mean, I don't know any of the shows that you're
Below
talking
Deck.
about,
Below Deck, it's about
what is it?
it's yachting. It's a
Yachting.
board,
Oh,
and
wow.
then that's when I seen your boy Timmy S on there. He was on
Hold
an
on to there,
episode.
yeah.
He was on an episode of Below Deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Below Deck is basically less about the people on the yacht. They're more portrayed as like kind of annoyances, and more the people that work below deck, hence the name. And so you've got like lots of little romances and scandals. The captain's always like, what are y'all doing? They have a million different spin-offs. And, people from across the world just working on decks and cruises. It's fun. It's
called,
as Joe said, great background noise.
It's called a boatman, Sadara. That's what they're calling it.
Boatmans. Oh my God.
Boatmans is what
Oh
they
my
call
God.
it. Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, shout out to the boatmans, man. I mean, I wish I could have a boat to have some boatmans on.
have a boatmans.
I'd be so pumped to have a boat. Boat guy?
Yeah, I don't mind boats. Yeah.
Boat guy?
I'm cool with boats. I mean, I'm more of like a catamaran type guy. You know.
Yeah,
just
you're
go
getting in the
chill
workout,
out
but
there.
like ambitions, like I made it success.
Yeah, successful.
Boat on
When
your
it-
list there?
It's not at the top of the list, but it can get there when you got that
Fair.
type of money.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like, what am I gonna do when I'm in
Where am I
Monaco?
going to squander my money?
Right? If I'm in Monaco, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah,
I gotta
exactly,
have a
right?
boat there at least.
Man, I'm a huge boat guy.
What?
You know what I wanted to do though?
I can't hear you.
Hold on, Ram. We're doing a
We'll
show
come
over
to you.
here, Ram.
We'll
Come
come
on.
to you in a second.
Ram, come on. No, seriously, just kidding. You know what I've always wanted to do though?
Yeah.
Get an older like Carver, like a 45-foot,
Yeah.
a 40-foot, an older one.
Yeah.
And then retrofit the hell out of it from the inside.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because then you'd be saving a little bit on the top line price.
Yeah.
The bottom line you're gonna end up spending
on
because
the
you're gonna
renovation. Tear it all
you're gonna
apart.
retrofit it. But that's kind of been my dream. And there's companies that actually do that whole thing for you
do that type
from the
of stuff.
beginning to end. They take
But
the 80s boats that look super dated with like the carpets and this, and they retrofit the hell out of it.
I mean, we're talking you just hit Lotto Max, you're going with that same game plan, or are you gonna just grab a new one?
That's a great question,
Right?
dude. That's actually a really good question. I'm thrifty AF.
Oh, no,
I just
but
am.
how thrifty are you gonna be with 48 smackers?
That's a good.
You know what
That's
I
a good
mean?
point. That's a good
You know what
point.
I mean?
I'm thrifty as hell, though,
48
bro.
sheets. I don't know how thrifty you're gonna necessarily be, but
Yes, boats and being on the lake is the best pastime, says ARX. Absolutely. Chris Kraft says Bobby Axelrod. Let's talk Survivor, says Aaron and Joanna Booster. Big smile. Could you use some of that money to pay me?
Oh.
Yeah, apparently, you still owe Big Smile some money, my guy.
No. Listen, I said, Spile, send your info to Sharif and your funds will get there. But he respectfully declined and said, no, I would rather just torment Joe for the foreseeable future. But there has to be an expiration on that torment.
Love it.
Torment.
Love it.
Yeah, it's pretty done there, and it's been a while, and I've definitely taken.
been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Remember that song?
Yeah, I remember I was singing that the
So
other day.
good,
That's what we say
dude.
to our
So
hockey
good.
guys. It's been a while.
Yeah, no, that's my dream there. Take a bit of an older boat, retrofit it. I like the Carvers because they're there's multiple floors. But there's also this European brand. I forget the name of it. It's not the multi-floor one. It's the elongated ones there. Well, I'll get it for you guys in a second.
Sorry, Frank
Go for it,
Koss.
man. Yeah.
Frank Koss, do you see Huda on Love Island? I cannot stand Huda, and I can't stand Ace, Frank Koss.
Huda?
Yeah, her name. Yeah,
That's what obviously I heard Huda.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you been watching
She has
this
Middle
season?
Eastern rage? Excellent.
I can't
Excellent.
stand her. I can't stand that individual. And Ace is probably my most disliked individual on the planet. I never disliked anybody as much as I don't like Ace.
Oh, get
from
him,
the
Joe.
current season, yeah.
All right. Well, I haven't seen any of this, so I'm just gonna live vicariously through you guys. But
Dude, I have to make sure I'm working while I watch this stuff. Otherwise, I feel like my brain is just melting.
rotting
You know
a little
what I mean?
bit.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've seen that's similar to that is one that Ram put me onto. It's called Dubai Bling.
Yeah, you
They
Dubai
speak
Bling?
like half English, half Arabic.
Yeah.
What? I still haven't watched that, nor have I watched season 3 of Dubai Bling. But this is like pure brain rot here, bro. pure brain rot.
Dude, you know what's
just hold on.
Yeah.
Imagine the excesses of the West and then multiply that by 10 because it's Dubai.
Yeah, and
right? Like,
honestly, for me, it's just like, I can't listen to you, you know what I mean? Another good one is selling luxury or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this.
There's a Toronto one and there's an Australian one. That's really good.
Luxury real estate.
Or something
right?
like that. Yeah.
I've seen that one. I haven't watched it, but I've seen a lot of it.
The Toronto one is good. Oh, luxury listings, it's called.
Apparently, Benton, shout out to Benton. Apparently, oil's pumping here big. Let me have a look at oil. Yeah, oil's up 2 2/3. Benton's saying oil names popping, VG and SOC. I'm not seeing anything. Adara, anything on your end there with respect to oil? Adara's looking into it right now for us, guys. So if we have anything on oil, we will let you know. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Energy stocks gain as Assassino, if we can go. Iran suspends cooperation with UN nuclear watchdog. Oh boy. So what's the actual headline here? Is there any? That's so Adara's seeing the same thing. That's the only thing she's seeing. So that's obviously not a good look. We definitely need some cooperation there. Now I don't know what the deal was that Donald Trump made with the Israelis and the Iranians about what the requirements were for that ceasefire agreement there. So we'll keep tabs on that for you guys, and if we have more information on it, obviously we will let you know. Thank you, Benton, Arsenal fan extraordinaire in the chat, for keeping me apprised of that, my man. We're always talking over here and we're trading, and so sometimes it's a little bit harder to monitor these things, and I do appreciate that, my man, for throwing that in. All right, guys, we're doing it live. We're back nicely in the money here on Big Bear AI as it found support at the volume-weighted average price. It's having trouble, though, at 60 pennies. It's been up to 60, and it is not clearing it. It's at 59 right now. I've seen it as high as 60. It's getting a bit of a sell at that level. So watch out here for Big Bear AI bouncing off VWAP, but certainly not clearing that 60 penny level with any gusto, if at all. Some wattage here. There we go, getting taken off as the buy orders come in fast and furious at 60, but that seller at 60 we can't shake. Okay, now we've shaken him. 61's printed there, so we're nicely in the money now on Big Bear AI. I have one of my biggest positions I've taken in a long time on this name, because we're negative on the day and we're trying to get positive. But that is the look now, Joseph. 62's now showing up on the Baird one. Keep your eye on this one. We'll keep monitoring it for you. Taking Prince to the high side here, my man. What do you got?
Beautiful stuff, guys. All right, let's break down our only 3 trades on the day. And I think that's really important to note, is that we're not just gunslinging. We're trying to have precision entries, and we get out when we're supposed to. Now the market's starting to squeeze back up, and that's what I'm talking about. This grind is really, really tough. This market is strong, hence why it's taking significantly a longer amount of time than I thought it would to get back towards the volume-weighted average price. And at this pace, you might not even see that on today's session. So there's some things that you need to factor in. You probably want to start parceling if you have the ability to break through some of the support levels, because that's holding up relatively well here. But let's break it down here, guys. All right, so attempt 1 didn't work out for us, but we're just using the high of the day as our stop. We get stopped out, we take an additional attempt, and then now that we had this pullback, we held some of these support levels, now acting as resistance, and we look for that move. It comes against us, and then we get out before we were supposed to, which is a good play. Why? Because now we have a significantly better price. Had a lot going on. Are they precise? Not that, but we're in and around the specific range that we want to be in. So one thing that we have to know, if it cracks this, I'm not going to wait for that point. It's now, my tight is now my stop is now tighter, considering the fact that I've added to this position. So if we break this 82.40 level, you got to get out of this trade. I'm only going to give this 10 cents. So I have until 45 because I put on more size, looking for that move back towards the volume weighted average price. But with what I'm seeing in this market is that the shorts are extremely tough. You have to go through that question tree that OB always talks about. Are you counter trend? Yes. What kind of move are you looking for? A move back to VWAP? What is price action telling you? And right now and throughout the whole session, it's telling us that it's going to be a struggle because the participants, the buyers, are continuously stepping back in and buying every micro pullback that we're seeing across the board. Microsoft is selling heading towards the opening price and the low of the day, but the market has not reacted whatsoever to that selling. It is moving in correlation with Google and Nvidia. Now that those names have been selling aggressively and the market hasn't been moving alongside with it, whenever you see somewhat of a pullback in those names, it just adds more fuel to the buying of the Nasdaq, and then that's why you see the moves to the top side are significantly stronger than what we are seeing to the downside. So size accordingly, make sure that you're not over leveraged just in case you do get squeezed out, but also look for that move and that specific risk to reward ratio that you've put on with that trade. Stick to those stops, especially when you're counter trading, because if you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're gonna have a bad time. Sure.
I like it, man. Good call out there. And I like this question tree thing that Obi's been talking about lately. I think it's a really good way to put what you really need to go through. It's like a trading plan. Like you have to cross your T's and dot your I's. And I think that's just really the only way to manage risk. Otherwise, you're taking a little bit too much risk. Okay, so we're doing well here on BBAI. We're stair-stepping up. Where are we long? 47s. I just took a print at 66s now. I'm trying to make a decision as to whether I want to get out the entire thing because 70 is coming up close, and 70 is the level we couldn't shake. But on the way to 70, we're encountering resistance at every level. 65, 66, 63, 64. There is huge size posted on almost every penny. And so that, makes it a bit a thicker trade and a harder trade for a breakout, at least to test the high of the day, which is 785, to test 770, let alone the 785 high a day. So there's only about 8 minutes left on the show, so I'm trying to make the decision as to whether I want to hold or get out back into 66 as we go. We're not able to clear 66. I mean, every single penny into that 70 penny area has a lot of size posted. So let's go ahead and wet the beak here. We're going to take out some at 65. We already did earlier, but we're going to take another piece there. So we'll see if this one wants to squeeze or what, but we're not clearing 66. In fact, I'm seeing more size come in on the level 2 at the 66 penny area on Big Bear AI. So yeah, that is obviously a bit of an issue there. I saw you, Leanna, in the chat. I know you were adding at that 7.5 girl. I hope you're still holding because this will probably be a banger for you. I know you were trading that one with me as well. I know that other people were also looking at Big Bear AI in the chat. The Katina man was obviously involved in this one in the morning. And oh, Joseph, we just took out a bunch of levels. Bang. There we go. Now we're 1 penny away from that dreaded 70 penny area on Big Bear AI. Is this going to be another area, another 70 penny touch and drop, or does it have the juice this time to clear that 70 penny level? Yeah, so we'll have to wait there. I don't know, Leanna. I don't know if you're still holding or what. Let me know. You LOL'd. I don't know if that means it's good or bad. I'm not sure. I don't want to say anything there, but yeah. Keeping an eye on this one, really looking for that 70 penny print and clear, Joseph. We've already layered orders above that 70 penny. Here's 69er. So let's go ahead and post a little bit there. We're going to wet the beak because we've got shares on, so we can take some over here. Still holding some nice shares, looking for that squeeze above 70 pennies. Trying to pack my patience, but, it's been a tougher trading day for me. We're still negative on the day. It's trying to get back positive. Today will be a negative day likely unless this thing explodes, but that was only 2 negative days in the last 3 trading weeks. So I'm kind of happy about that.
2 negative days?
2 negative days in the last 3 trading weeks.
Oh, how come you keeping that silent there?
I don't talk about the winners, bro.
You got to talk about the winners.
No, I don't. It's just my thing. It's my
15
jam.
15 trading days, that's a record of 13.
It's not, because we had a couple of shortened weeks, right? Oh, okay. We had a couple of shortened weeks. Okay. Think about it, right? So and this week's going to be shortened week
Even if you had 10 trading, we'll call it 10 trading sessions, you're wrong 2 of them. That's an 80% accuracy right there.
Well, yeah, it's okay. The math's got to jive. Yeah. So we just got to 70, Joseph. The high of this candle is 70 pennies, so we did get to 70, and then we rejected again. Down into 67 we go. Darwin's killing me. Anytime he's trying to pump me up, he throws in the
lotion.
That's an inside joke. Okay, so I'm going to tell everybody what it is because it's funny. So your boy Pratt used to sit there, right? Yeah. And then he had some hand lotion over there. We're in the middle of winter, bro.
Lotion up,
so my hands are all, I'm ashy Larry over here, and the knuckles always on the knuckles, yeah. So I'm like, yo, can I have some can I have some hand cream?
Yeah.
And then just being the asshole that he typically is, right? Like,
giving you a hard time about
I'm like, just give me 2 pumps, bro. And then the entire chat just exploded, and it's stuck, and it hasn't dropped since that time. Shout out to OG Darwin, man.
Puts the
Always
lotion
be
on its
tickled.
skin.
Oh, wow. Isn't that from Joe Dirt?
Yeah.
Yes, my guy.
Joe Dirt.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
He's like,
Why are you referring to me as an object, dog?
Yeah.
So
He's like,
dope.
And he's referring to the Auto Trader magazine that he has, and it's outdated, and he wants a new one. What a classic movie.
Oh, my. He's like,
Yeah,
this guy's selling, I don't know what. I got to watch Joe Dirt again,
Joe
man.
Dirt's a
Those are
classic,
good times. I love Joe Dirt, man.
Joe Dirt.
Dear Day. I forgot about that. He's all French and weird.
Joe Dirt.
I love it. We're having a great time, guys. I hope you guys don't mind a little bit of talking, but Joey Options and I, we do a live here on the midday. We do a little trading, we do a little talking, we do some news, and we always have a Dara at the big desk to let us know what is moving in case we need to shut the hell up and concentrate on the things at hand. Joseph, anything you got, my man?
Yeah, we're doing this thing. We're just in the ebbs and flows of this overall market right now, guys. Apple is now back towards the volume-weighted average price and north of that. So that's your rap name, 2 pump?
Not 2 chains,
yeah, 2
but
pump.
2 pumps.
That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, these things are. This is all right. I can't wait. This is hectic in the background, guys.
Absolutely
we apologize.
hectic.
Hit the Studio 8 renovations GIF if we can there. But you can see that just the strength. Nvidia is saying no, whatever about that 160 call wall. We're just going to continue to hover around these specific neck of the woods, and then maybe if we do decide to get a bounce, that'll be through the high of the day, and then head into some more higher prices. So, but again, Pug Life was right. 157.50 holding up relatively well. But one thing that I'm not seeing, Pug Life, is just that the aggressive hedgers really starting to step in. Sorry if I'm cracking up, but it's funny. I have to speak louder. There's banging going on behind me. So yeah, just a lot going on. But if we decide to sell off and head back towards view up, I think we'll be okay with these shorts. The only thing is, though, is that some of the other names, Meta was at the lows and now starting to rebound. Microsoft was at the lows and now starting to rebound. So you're stuck in limbo with this TQ short, but we'll be patient until we get stopped out, Shree.
All right, let me know when Assassino looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, the SPY, or even Bitcoin. Well, Top 1 Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders a chance to manage up to $1 million in capital, and you get to pick your path. You can choose instant funded, you can choose challenge, or you can choose pro account and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, guys, there's been over $10 million paid out and over 1,000 plus 5-star reviews from real traders just like you. So use the discount code TTV to save on any account that you choose. If you're interested, and you should be, scan that QR code or head on over to top1futures.com and start trading towards your next payout. Joseph, I just want to cover this over here because Big Bear AI just got to 70 again. And so there's size posted here that we can see at 69. It pales in comparison. There we go. Look at the amount of lottage there that is posted at 70. That's at least 5,000 to 6,000 lots just posted at that 70 penny level on what's it called, Big Bear AI. And we have not been able to shake 70 pennies since we were above it at 1055. Every single attempt above 70 has failed. And there is size posted that's taking advantage of that. Now, whether or not that seller gets shaken and removed out of the way, your guess is as good as mine. We can just try to make an educated guess based on what we're seeing on the level 2 as well as on the chart. But that seller, or at least what we can see posted on the gateway, is prohibitively large compared to any other size I've seen on any other level. And that's not what's even hidden. There could be a big, huge order, an iceberg order as we call it, even below, or sorry, hiding behind all the lottage posted there on the actual visual level 2. So we'll see if we can get above that 70 penny area. For my sake, I really hope we do, but obviously I don't have a hand in that, Joseph. I am not a market mover. No, I am a market observer.
Yeah, I would love to be a market mover.
Be nice.
Things it would be significantly easier, I think, our job.
I think so.
If that level 3 Absorption.
Start your own market making company, baby, and then we just see everybody stops, blow through all the stops.
Through it all, absorb a little liquidity, get the price to where we want it to go, sell some shares.
Where's the Katina man, bro?
I don't know, but Obi's locked in, ready to go.
He's ready to go. Here it is. Show my screen, please.
Show.
There we go. There's the wattage there, guys, at 70 pennies. Just look at the amount of these. Each one of these is a lot. So if you multiply that 1154 by 100, that's just what's posted on that gateway on the EXP. And then there was several that were also 1,000-something lots below that. So this one has a lot of thickly or a lot of resistance to the top side there. Your boy John Del Segno saying Mara is absolutely pumping. Absolutely, you're right, sir. We talked about that one. Mara is up over 12% on a good headline today. It also helps that Bitcoin's back almost at 110,000. So that will be the look there. Shout out to John Del Segno calling out Mara. Absolutely right, you are. But we're kind of involved now in this BBAI trade. So we're going to keep tabs on that for you. BBAI ends up being a banger. It's just a matter of whether or not it can take out that 70 pennies, and we're just going to pack our patience and see what we can get on that one. But it has been a big resistance level at 70 pennies today, Joseph. Any final thoughts as we head over to the other show?
What an absolute beast Google has been today, Sharif. This thing is it's not giving up. Yeah. It's got the gift of the gab today. There's no questioning that, man. It's a big time mover. There's no signs of it slowing down. I already sold 66% of my position at 82 roughly around here. Yeah, 81, right around these highs. It was somewhere in this neck of the woods that I sold 66% of it. And then, yeah, sure enough, we're starting to sell out, but a big time rebound. And I think we're going to continue to climb here in Google. There's a lot in the pipeline for this name. I think, and that's the thing when we were talking about things, certain catalysts being priced in with the likes of Apple. And is this antitrust with Apple, considering Google Street, also priced into the stock so that any positive news, you can get that appreciation and continue to climb higher, considering things are priced in. So.
We will have to keep that on watch. So there you go, guys. The wall is no longer there. That entire wall. You got to watch the stories that Ram posted on Trader TV to find out what's going up on that wall, baby. But it is something bigly. You guys ready? All right. It is time now to send you to the Big Kahuna show.
That's it.
Obi and Obi's obviously in for Neil. And the Katina man is back. He's locked and he's loaded.
I got a heap of phone calls to make too. So I got to get on the guy, the warranty coverage guy. He doesn't want to answer the call.
He doesn't want to answer his call.
Yeah, my car. Yeah.
Katina man, don't you think you should pay him a visit there if he's ignoring his phone calls? You might have to pay him a visit, huh?
Like, you know what I mean?
Joey Hands might have to pay him a visit.
It would be more than Joey Hands, I'll tell you that right now. For sure.
All right, Joseph.
Yeah,
we're doing it live. We'll see everybody tomorrow. 2-hour show, shortened day tomorrow. Make sure to catch that with us. Big boys are that way.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Yeah, thank you. We still haven't gotten that, welcome to the afternoon.